Alrighty then. All the things, all the screens up. All the screens up, all the things up, all the fun, all the fun. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Oh, already seeing people popping in the chat. How's it going, everybody? Already seeing everybody popping in the chat. There's Corey, Josh, Skywars, Jump Wars, Rick. How's everybody doing? Oh, man. Welcome in, y'all. I love to see it when I just click my YouTube on and immediately it starts going nuts. I love that. So much fun. So much fun. All right, y'all. You know how this thing goes. If you're on the TikTok side, go ahead and tap on that screen. If you're on the YouTube side, go ahead and hit that like button. And that way we can start getting this thing going. That way I can open up the phone lines. How was my day off? It was pretty nice. It was pretty nice. Can't complain. I made an awesome video late last night. I'm gonna post it tomorrow on my YouTube. Not on TikTok, only on YouTube, but it's really cool. It's a really fun video. It's a really fun video. I enjoyed making it, so hopefully you guys enjoy it too. I enjoyed making it. And that's really what matters, right? See, that's what really sucks. So like when it's like sometimes I'll make a video and I'm like, oh, okay, this is just my run of the mill video, whatever. And then it'll do like really well on like social media. And then sometimes like I spend all this time and I'm like, oh my God, this video is perfect. I love it so much. And then it gets like no traction. And it's like, it's so random. You just never know. Like what they're going to do. It's really crazy. But I posted one today. I posted one yesterday. But the one I did last night, I will post tomorrow. So I just got to do one more edit on it that I forgot to do last night. So, and I'll get it up tomorrow. Speaking of which, I'll be on tomorrow, probably during the afternoon. Probably during the late morning, early afternoon tomorrow. I won't be doing a late night live tomorrow. Because I got my kiddo this weekend, and so she's busy during the day doing her thing because, you know, teenagers. And so I'll stream while she's doing her thing. How long tonight? See how the conversations go. Let's see how the conversations go. If they're going well, I'll keep going. I don't got anywhere to be tonight, and I don't have anywhere especially to be tomorrow morning until like 9. So I can be here for a long time. It's got their temps today. No fun. Getting old. Yeah, no, if everybody's here and everybody's enjoying the show and we're seeing, you know, all the indicators that it's being a good show, you know, then we'll keep going as long as I keep going. I try not to go longer than 3 hours. I know a lot of people do like 4 or 5 hours. Honestly, I feel like after like 3 hours, I'm like after like 2.5, 3 hours, like I'm usually my brain is fried. So I try not to do anything past that just because I'm not delivering the best product to you guys anymore. Because I really do put a lot of thought and everything into it. You know, I put a lot of thought and everything into my stream, so I don't want to shortchange y'all. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to shortchange y'all. Give you guys a bad product. That's good stamina. That's funny. All right. Well, we're about to open up these phone lines, get this thing moving, get this show on the road. Again, y'all, if you guys are on the TikTok side, please double tap that screen. Let's get this thing up. Let's get up straight to like 15, 20,000. I appreciate you. I get my main account back tomorrow. I won't be back on it until Sunday, though. And then Sunday, I should be doing a giveaway, I think. Is my giveaway Sunday or Monday? My giveaway will be Monday. Most likely. As long as we're above 200 subscribers, I do a giveaway on the last day of the month. So as long as we're above 200 on Monday, I'll do it. We'll do it. All right. We're going to open these phone lines in a second. We'll get this thing going. Y'all, someone Pick up your phone. I'll pick up my phone when I'm damn ready. Yeah, no, main account should be back on Sunday, even though I'm not sure when I'm going to be streaming on Sunday because I do have plans on Sunday. So we'll get going when we get going. All right. Well, I guess it's about that time to get this thing moving, get this thing started. The phone lines are now open so we can get this thing moving. Hello?
Hi.
Hello, how are you today?
Hello, how are you? Good, how are you?
I'd be
I
better.
don't know what, I'm not
No,
big into politics,
I
so I don't
can-
really care. I just wanted to say hi.
All right. Well, hi to you too. Have a good one. Thanks for the hi. I appreciate it. Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hello. Good, how are you?
What?
I don't know what, I'm not big into
All right. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hi, how are you today?
Good.
Awesome. Nope.
Hello?
Shh. How old are you?
20.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Awesome. Why is that?
I support him because I don't think a woman candidate would make good for this country.
Why?
Because let's say, you know how women are on their periods, right? If she
I mean,
gets her
I
period,
do. I don't believe that you do.
Okay, well, I know that how women are on their period.
I don't think so. Have you ever met a woman?
Yes,
Oh.
plenty of times actually, every single day.
Not your mom, though.
Oh, not my mom? Oh, every single day.
Oh. Your
Yeah.
dog doesn't count either.
My dog's a boy.
Oh, okay.
So you're reaching too far with that one.
No, I'm not.
You were, because you were.
Yeah. So,
So,
anyways, what were you saying about women and their periods that you think you know about?
I was saying, if Kamala ever got her period while being president, she would be crazy, and
Yeah.
she wouldn't be able to handle everything.
I think everyone would be crazy if a 60-year-old woman started having her period again.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why I think
You know that generally 60-year-old women aren't having periods, right? They're in what's called menopause.
right, but she could.
Yeah, and so could you.
But I could.
Yeah, sure.
A man can get their period.
About as much of a chance of a 60-year-old woman getting a period. That's about
See, you're not saying
about even
she
odds
can
right
get
there.
her period again. She can get it though.
Sir,
Right.
This is why I'm saying I don't think you've ever met a woman, because 60-year-old women
Why?
can't get periods.
Like can't, or they can never.
Cannot. What?
They
Do you even
can.
know what a period is?
Do you?
Yes. What is it?
Explain it to me.
No. Tell me what it is.
Why do I have to explain it to you?
Because you're the one bringing up the topic. Either explain it or I'll just move on to the next person. Or say you don't know. Either way.
Oh, I know what it is.
Then what is it?
Why do I have to explain it though?
That's just,
You're the one who's saying
I
that
give
you
you
can
exactly
never
to the count of 3 to start explaining or say I don't know or I'm moving on.
I know what it is.
3,
2,
2, 1.
1.
Goodbye. It's okay. Dude, if he didn't know what it was, I'm not going to freaking judge. Like, if he just said, I don't know what it is, then I would have been like, okay. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, how are you today?
Good.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. How old are you?
I am 42.
Awesome. So why do you support Trump?
Well, I'm going to just start off and saying that I was a Democrat my whole entire life.
No one cares. Why do you support Trump?
No one cares. That's funny. I support Trump because I believe in God.
No.
bro.
What do
believe in
you
God?
what do you think you're getting to when you say like I was a Democrat my whole life? What do you think you're getting to? Like, why do you think that anybody cares about that?
Because first off, the Democrats represented something that I believe.
No.
in
I'm not
before.
asking that. Why do you think you telling me that you used to be a Democrat? Why do you think that qualifies anything for you? Like, what do you think I'm going to go? Oh, you used to be a Democrat before. Oh, now I care a lot more
because-
about what you're saying.
No, can I tell you why I start off by saying
I've been
that?
waiting for you to.
Well, I mean, you speak so fast that I can't even get a word in. So, can I speak
Would
now?
you like me to speak slowly
Yes,
for
slow.
you?
Thank you. Yes,
I'm
thank you. I
sorry.
appreciate that.
My
Thank you. My
bad.
feelings are hurt. I said that because I already know how you are already. Like you're automatically gonna attack. So I just waited for that response. I just wanted to be neutral, but I can't be like that. So let me get to my point. I support Trump.
Hold on.
because
You wanted
he's
to
all
be
about
neutral
America.
by saying that
Yep.
you were a Democrat, so you're not
Neutral
even a
with
Democrat?
you. Neutral with you to show you my back
Sir, that's
history
not
of
what I'm
I
asking you.
was.
I asked you a specific question. Why do you think
Yes. Why do I support
I
Trump?
used to be a
Why do I
Democrat
support Trump?
is a
Why do I
no?
support
We're not
Trump?
no. We're not talking about why you support Trump anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you just start off by saying that? You said, why do I
Yeah,
support
we were
Trump,
talking
right?
about that. See, conversations move forward. Okay, they don't just stay stagnant. All right. Yeah. So now we're talking about why you think telling me that you're a Democrat your whole life qualifies something for me.
God, bro, I thought you were a human being, so I thought maybe you would have some sympathy first, so that way you can understand where I was.
Why would I have
but
more
obviously
sympathy for you
don't.
because you used to be a
You
Democrat?
don't. I just assume. I don't know you personally, but I guess I was wrong. That's my mistake. That's one thing you Democrats don't do. You don't
So
take
you
accountability.
think so
I'm
you
showing
think
you
that
what
if
that is.
if you
I
said
don't.
that you
I
were a
didn't think
Democrat,
anything.
I would have
I
more
didn't think
sympathy.
anything.
So you think that if I
No,
told so you
I
think
started off by starting this conversation
Mhm.
like that maybe it wouldn't get to this point
to
where
what
we
point,
would
sir?
be agitated.
I'm not
You got
agitated
me
in the
agitated.
slightest.
Oh, I can tell. You're condescending, sarcastic, and if I was in front of you right now, I would smack the fucking smirk right off your face.
Oh, I'm a big man. I think I'm hard. Nobody fucking cares.
Nah,
Anyways,
there's no big
so
man.
for
You
the final
Democrats are all
time,
wet wipes,
for the
bro.
final
You're all
time,
wet wipes.
for the final
Yes,
time,
final time. Let's go. Let's go. Here,
for the
let me hear
final
it.
time, why did you think that being a Democrat was a qualifier for me?
I didn't think it was a qualifier.
Then why did you
started
say
off
it?
by saying that so that way maybe this conversation could be in a neutral setting.
Well, it
where
was
you
already
weren't trying
neutral.
to
You failed to
attack
do
me.
that.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
It was far from that. You
But-
start off by talking mad fast.
All right. Anyways, we're going to move on to an adult now. He's very upset. I just really wanted to know. I thought that was a good question. Hello?
Yo, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, you have to be 18 to be here. Thank you. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. How about yourself?
I'm going pretty well.
Awesome. How old are you?
I am 21.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Awesome. Why is that?
So, I do not 100% support him, but I think he was the better out of two options.
Awesome. So why do you support him?
Well, one, taking out all the illegals. Two, trying to get the economy back on track. I know that some people may disagree with how he's doing it, but he is trying to. Three, also, a lot of people might disagree with this. He is trying to bring us back into the world stage a lot more.
Awesome. So, A, Joe Biden did a better job of kicking undocumented migrants out of this country. B, by the time Biden left office, the Wall Street Journal said it was giving Trump the economy that was the envy of the world. Okay. And three, he has done the opposite of globalization. He has literally ostracized us from our allies across the world, which is why we have things like Canada and the EU making deals outside of the United States and regardless of them, or even today where Donald Trump said he was pulling out of trade deals with Canada due to specific items, right? So specifically, every single thing you said that you support him for, he was not as good at.
Okay, so let's go one by one here. One, deportation. So Biden's numbers was skewed because of the Remain in Mexico policy because of COVID. That was more just because people coming across the border going back and forth over and over and over again.
Hold on. The Remain in Mexico policy wasn't under Biden. That was under Trump.
Yes, but Biden then continued it.
No, Biden shut it off almost immediately.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he did. That was like week 1, dude.
It was 2022 that
When he shut off Romania and Mexico?
Yes.
All right,
In
let's take a look at that.
2022.
Oh yeah, he had to wait
And
for
it
the
was
Supreme
also
Court. You are right.
restarted.
I think you're right. I think he had to wait for no, 2021. February 2021. Literally the month after he took office. Literally right here. Why is it doing that? Literally right there. As soon as you Google it. February 2021. The month after he took office.
Well, how did the Supreme Court not rule until June 30th that Biden even could if it ended then?
Because he ended it and then it went to Supreme Court and the Supreme Court was like, yes, you had the right to do this the whole time because it got challenged.
Maybe I said the wrong thing. I swear there was a policy that was like Section 13, not Title 13 or something that was catching.
Are you trying to talk about Title 42?
Yes, that.
Okay. Those are two very different things.
My bad.
Yeah, those are two
My
very
bad.
different things. Yeah, and Biden didn't keep Title 42. Title 42 had an expiration date. So it just expired.
Okay, I was mistaken about that then.
Yeah, so Donald Trump set Title 42 for the specific reason of COVID due to the medical emergency of the pandemic. And then it had an expiration date of 2022. And when the expiration date came up, he just didn't extend it because, again, we weren't in the heart of COVID anymore. And so there was no reason to extend it.
Yes, but this is what I'm talking about with the deportation numbers. Like, yeah, Biden's is a lot higher, but it's not that Biden was going in and using ICE to deport as many people. I guarantee that Trump has used ICE to deport many more people than Biden in his first year.
So you only care how many people are deported by ICE, not just in general? Why is it being by ICE a qualifier for you?
Because these are people that are already in the United States that are legally here. I'm not worried about people that are just crossing the border and then turned right back away. Those are not the people we're worried about because they're not doing anything. They're
What people are you worried about?
Feet across the border. Sorry, what'd you say?
Well, what people are you worried about?
Anybody who's in the country illegally.
Why?
There is a million different things. Why are they here illegally? Yes, there are asylum seekers, and I do believe that we should let some asylum seekers in, but they should go through that process.
All asylum seekers go through the same process.
I am talking about people who just cross the border and then say they are asylum seekers.
That's
like
all
AOC
of them.
Saying, then why are they crossing the border illegally? Like, there should be a process set up.
There is a process, and the first step to that process is crossing the border illegally.
Okay, then that process needs to be changed.
I agree. That's why Biden tried to change it and Donald Trump stopped it.
Okay, there was 500 other things in that bill.
No, there was two other things in that bill. Both of them were asked to be put in that bill by Republicans, and then both of those things were approved by Republicans without the immigration bill.
Again, I don't support a lot of Republicans in House and Congress. I think they're all corrupt as hell, left or right.
But sir, you have to.
Am I allowed to swear on here?
Yeah, I don't really care. But but there's the problem, sir. This immigration bill was standalone. Okay, the Republicans asked for that bill to be added to the Ukraine and Israel funding. Then they said they stopped it because of the Israel and Ukraine funding, which is a lie. They stopped it because Donald Trump asked them to. So they separated the bills into 3 different bills, one for the Ukraine funding, one for the Israel funding, and one for immigration. And then the Republicans approved the Israel funding. Then they approved the Ukraine funding, but they still didn't approve the immigration funding.
Again, I do not like any Republicans in the Senate or House. I disagree with that. You are right about that. But something still needs to change.
But Biden tried to change it. Donald Trump stopped him. So why do you, if you're saying that the process needs to change, which I agree with you, I think that our asylum process is completely, outdated and needs to be changed, right? We need to change the laws that guide asylum, right? If that's what you want, and Biden tried to fix that, and Trump stopped him from fixing it, then why do you support the person who stopped the fix of the asylum process, not the person who tried to fix it?
To be fair, I never really looked at the immigration bill that much. I just heard there was a lot of buff in it. I guess I was wrong about that, but that's fair. That being said, I think that we just need to move forward and fix it now. Who cares what happened in the past?
You do. Because you're bringing it up.
No, I'm saying
you're
that we
saying
need
that
to-
the reason why you voted for someone is because of what happened in the past. You're saying that due to the past, due to what was going on with asylum seeking in the United States, due to the undocumented migrants that were coming in, due to the people that the things that were happening under the Biden administration, that is why you voted for Trump. But the Biden administration in the past tried to fix those things that you didn't like in the past, and Donald Trump stopped them. That's my entire point. The things in the past are why you voted.
Okay, and what I'm saying is that, yes, I voted for things that was happening in current events, but yeah, I am basically agreeing with you. I am wrong about the immigration bill. Like, I am wrong about that because I did not do enough research into that. That is my bad. There was not that much fluff in the bill. Now that I'm reading more into it, you are pretty much right about that. Faster asylum seeking process. You are right. I have no really answer for that. But the only thing I would add is why the fuck did they wait until election year to do it?
They didn't. The first Biden bill was on the table for Congress a week after he took office, and Republicans shot it down. There was 3 different immigration bills over the course of the Biden administration. One was about a week in, one was about a year and a half in, and another one was about 3 years in. There was 3 of them. They were all stopped by Republicans.
Didn't Democrats hold all 3 branches when Biden first took office?
There was a small time when a very, very short time before a special election where they held a tie with a tiebreaker, but it was like the first month or something. It was nothing that great.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. Then I don't really have anything else to say about that. Then, like, I did not know about the special election. I thought until 2022 they had the majority.
No. But anywho, what other reasons did you have?
Well, okay, trying to fix the economy, and that also ties into the world stage. Let's start off by saying tariffs. I do not agree with tariffs, so I don't want to argue with them about that. I feel like the only way tariffs would work is if we remove income tax, and if anyone's being honest, that's never going to happen.
Okay, so you don't
So
support tariffs, but
I-
you support
yeah.
and voted for Donald Trump, even though his entire economic policy was pretty much tariffs.
I believe that he's using tariffs to get better deals, which that's only going to work so long until people start calling the bluff.
Awesome. He's been in
So-
for 5 months. What better deal has he gotten?
Oh, didn't he just announce a trade deal with China a couple days ago? I haven't read into it yet, but
There's been no
I did
trade deal
hear-
signed with China.
Well, I did see a few headlines. There was this, like, he's trying to broker a deal with Europe right now, making them buy more natural gas with us to remove the tariffs. If that succeeds, then we're getting a lot more funding that way for our government.
Yeah. What ones has he actually done?
What do you mean? What has he act? Like, do you want me to go down the list of executive orders?
I want you to
that
name a
he's done?
single country who's agreed to an actual deal with him. Here, let me get ahead of you since you seem to be wanting to Google. The UK is the only one who has done a deal with them, and the entirety of the UK bill pretty much boils down to now UK made cars now have precedence over American cars in the United States.
So apparently, 10 hours ago, we did reach a trade deal with China on accelerating shipments of rare earth minerals, which is a big thing for us because if we need to survive the next 20 years, we need to find more rare
That's
earth
not a
minerals.
trade deal. We already had rare earth minerals coming here. They actually stopped the rare earth minerals because of the tariffs. It sounds like they're just
Yeah, and now
restarting
they're
the.
coming back.
Yeah, so we had rare earth minerals from China. Donald Trump put on tariffs. The rare earth minerals went away. Donald Trump brought back the tariffs, and now we're getting them again. Is that the big deal for him? Them is that he stopped it and now he's unstopped it?
Well, I mean, it all depends. Did we get a better deal out of it? It all depends on the next few days when the deal actually comes out.
So the deal hasn't come out yet.
I mean, all I'm reading is that a deal has been signed on increased rare earth minerals.
Let's see.
Yeah, I've looked at 4 different articles now, and no more details besides that I could see.
Gotcha. So Donald Trump, who said that the entire reason that he was putting these giant tariffs on China was because of a trade deficit, is now expanding how much stuff we buy from China.
Yes and no. We need rare earth minerals from China, but that doesn't say we need steel and we need all this other stuff from China. Like, rare earth minerals is the one exception, I believe, and that's why we're trying to pressure Ukraine and to get them from them, too.
Gotcha, sir. So again, we had a trade deficit. Donald Trump said this trade deficit with China is horrible. We're buying so much more stuff from them, okay, than they're buying from us. This needs to stop. It's destroying America. So he's going to do a trade deal to buy more stuff from China.
Resources, yes, but the end products need to be made in the U.S. I think that's the main goal here. Like, we can't just pull rare earth minerals out of our ass. We could find and mine it, but that's a limited resource. Like, we're going to have to buy it from other countries.
Sir, I don't disagree that we need rare earth minerals. I think you're misunderstanding the argument I'm having here.
You're basically
Here, let me pull up the report
what?
from this thing. The United States
Okay.
and China have resolved issues surrounding shipments of rare earth minerals and magnets to the U.S., Secretary Scott Bessent said on Friday, ironing out a dispute that stalled a deal reached in May. As a part of the retaliation against U.S. tariffs, China suspended exports of a wide range of critical minerals and magnets, upending supply chains central to automakers, aerospace manufacturers, semiconductor companies, and military contractors around the world. During the China trade talks in Geneva, Beijing committed to removing the measures imposed on April 2nd, but those critical materials were not moving fast as agreed. I'm confident they agreed. Yeah, so the tribe said he had signed a deal with China in previous days, but did not provide details. So literally all we know is that the same rare earth minerals that we were getting under the entire time from Biden are now coming right back to the United States now that Donald Trump has undone his deal.
Again, we don't have any more details.
Yes, all we know is, sir. Okay. Sir, you're telling me he's putting on all these tariffs to make a deal. Where's the deal? Donald Trump is supposed to be the best deal maker, art of the deal, best deal maker, the best at everything. Right? All of these deals, we're going to have all the best deals. Everything is going to be great. Where's the deals?
And who says we're ever going to see them? You have to.
If we're never going to see them, then why do I care about them?
Because it saves the government money.
If it saves the government money, then it's public record. And if it's public record, I'm going to see it.
Fair enough, son. If it's public record, then we will find out.
Okay. Anything else?
Okay. How do you feel about the Republicans trying to end income taxes altogether?
It's never going to happen. And they're not even trying.
They did put a bill through that was trying to.
Where did they put a bill through?
Okay, this is going to take me a minute to read through the bill here. Do you want to move on to something else while I'm reading this?
No, I think I'll just move on to another caller, but I hope you have a wonderful day, okay?
Well, you too, sir. I understand I wasn't completely prepared here, so understandable.
All right, sounds good. Have a good one. Bye. Yeah, I don't really know exactly what we were doing there, but that's okay. We're gonna move on to the next caller. Y'all, we're gonna move on to the next caller. Let's see, hold on. We're about to move on. Oh my goodness, shut up. Oh, I hate when my phone spazzes out. We're about to move on to the next caller. Y'all, please double tap that screen if you're on the TikTok side. If you're the YouTube side, please hit that like button. If you guys would like support, I do have super chats that are open on YouTube. If you send them, I put them up on the screen. And then I put them up here on the screen like this, and we talk about them. Like this guy who said caller owned a keyboard. But besides that, we put on the screen. We have a good time. We talk about them. Also, I do have all my pay links in my bio: Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. They're all at Polypolitics, just like my name. So, cool. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. How old are you?
So I'm not like a Trump supporter or anything.
How old are you?
Because obviously that fucker's like annoying as fuck.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yo.
Hello.
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 Hey.
Hi. How are you today?
Hi. Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
34.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Awesome. Why is that?
Well, I mean, other than the premise of what was the other candidate to support? I mean, the lesser of two evils.
Awesome. So Donald Trump was a convicted felon with multiple more indictments. He's an adjudicated sexual assaulter. He defrauded a children's cancer charity. He pardoned freaking January 6 people that tried to overturn our government. Like I'm sorry. And Kamala Harris did what? That match that which made her more evil?
Well, are you new to the politics game of how politics work?
I am very not new. I'm just wondering how Kamala Harris was worse than someone who brags about going into the back room to see underage girls naked.
Yeah. Well, you know, those are typical leftist talking points, and it's no surprise that that's where your stance is
Did
at.
Donald
but,
Trump say that?
You know, where's
Did
your
Donald
stance
Trump say
on-
that?
Where's your stance on Biden pardoning everyone at the end of the
Biden
term?
wasn't running against Donald Trump. You said the lesser of two evils, so we're talking about Kamala Harris. So again, did Donald Trump say that?
Okay. So we're going to go off of just everything everyone said at every point of their life?
Yes, if they say they were sneaking into back rooms to see underage girls naked, yes, we will hold that against them for the rest of their life. 100%.
Okay. So you supported Biden, right?
We're not talking about Biden. You said the lesser of two evils. Who did Donald Trump run against the presidency for?
So hold on. I mean, I can answer those questions, but you got to answer my questions. I mean, I think that's fair.
No, it's not.
In a civil debate.
Your statement was, I voted for Donald Trump because he was the lesser of two evils. Donald Trump ran against Kamala Harris. So we are talking about Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. You said that he is the lesser of two evils. I have just named a bunch of things that I very much consider evil that Donald Trump did or said that he did. I am asking you for what Kamala Harris did that was more evil than that.
Well, apparently you're new to the politics game.
Nope, just want an answer.
So,
I don't need your analysis on how new I am to the politics game. Just the answer is fine.
Well, are you allowed to answer any of the questions that I throw your way?
I'm still waiting for your answer on that one. You've asked 4 questions since I asked that one question. So how about we start there and then we can move on to the next question.
You're funny. So yeah, so you know, I know that statement of his from 20-something years ago was just a dumb statement. I know he's also made weird statements about his own kids as well, and everyone's like, oh, God, look at this. This is horrible. And so you go, yeah, okay, people say dumb shit. Oh, apologize for the swearing. Dumb stuff all the time, and people say dumb things all the time. Let's take the saying things out of it, and if you're going to base your premise off of, oh, he has said some crazy things. It's been wild. Okay, well then I want to bring it back to you as, so you supported Joe Biden.
But sir, I didn't just say the things that he said. I also said he was a convicted felon. I also said he was adjudicated
we all
sexual
know that.
assaulter. I also said
we
that he
all know
defrauded.
that, though.
He
Everyone
all
knows that.
yeah. I also said he defrauded a children's cancer charity. I said all of those things.
Defrauded it.
Sir. If you can't answer the question, like literally, if you can't just directly answer the question of what did Kamala Harris do that was more evil? If you can't directly answer the question, then there's no point in having this conversation. Okay?
Well, of course,
and I will just move on to somebody. No, you're right. I don't want to have a conversation with you. I'll just move on to somebody that can answer a question. No, I won't hang tight. I will ask you for the final time to answer the question. And if you don't, then I'll just move on to someone else. Sound good?
Well, of course you will. But all right. So the lesser of two evils, I mean, you hit me with a question right off the bat. I was like, oh, all right, let me give you a quick answer. I gave you a quick answer. That's a very common answer in the political realm of who are you voting for? You know, politicians are dirty no matter which side you're on. So, you know, you always ask yourself, oh, I'll do the lesser of two evils. So I gave you a quick little response because you're a fast talker. That's how leftists do it. But so if I want to go with the Kamala thing of lesser of two evils, she hasn't done like literally anything. So, I mean, there's that. Secondly, you know, her support of LGBTQT, all that stuff, the transgenders in prison, you know, defunding the police. I mean, we can go on with the myriad of things that she did while she was in California. So, yeah, of course, like when I'm giving you like a quick snap answer right when you hit me 5 seconds after I get on the phone with you, yeah, lesser of two evils.
Gotcha, sir. So just to be clear, you're saying that Donald Trump supporting, or Kamala Harris supporting the LGBTQ plus community.
Not supporting them. The funding of the transgenders in prison.
Sure, that's fine. So you're saying that funding funding help for transgender people is somehow more evil than sexual in prison. Sorry, the funding of transgender people in prison is more evil than sexual assault.
Well, he wasn't convicted of sexual assault. It was defamation.
I didn't say he was convicted. I said he was adjudicated in a court of law, which is correct.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, his the actual felony cases were against defamation cases in.
I'm very familiar with all of the court cases. I was asking you a very specific question. If you think that supporting transgender people in prisons is more evil than sexual assault.
Well, no. And his adjudication of the sexual assault was based off of. You do understand that there's even people on the left that have gone against the whole sexual assault thing against him. They've gone.
I could not care less what people on the left do. I'm asking what you do.
Well, I'm going off of the reality of prior to the last 10 years of his life, the guy's been in the public eye for 50 years prior to that, and none of these things came about until he got into the political world, which is how politics works.
He was literally taking sexual assault civil cases 30 years ago. So I don't know what you're talking about.
And they disappeared instantly when everyone realized
when he paid them off.
Okay. Well, we can go down this road with literally every politician.
Sure, let's go down that road. Pick a politician and we'll go down that road.
I mean, you can go down this road with many politicians
of
the dirty, dark past.
Sure, pick one.
Multiple politicians.
Sure, pick one.
Steve King was a politician from Iowa who was actually a Republican, and they went down that road, and then they ousted him.
Yeah, good.
There's things that happen on both sides across the board. It happens
Perfect.
all the time.
So why haven't we ousted Donald Trump also?
Well, because when the law comes in and says, okay, well let's do Justice Kavanaugh. How all of that came about, and then nothing came of it, but it was all political.
It was all political, or he just got confirmed anyway?
No, he didn't get confirmed anyway. It was because everything that got brought forth was not provable because it wasn't true.
Yet Donald Trump's was provable, so that's a false equivalency.
Okay. So
because it was proven in a court of law.
So you think the stuff with E. Jean Carroll, everything got dropped against him with E. Jean Carroll, but the thing that he got convicted for was defamation.
Nothing got. What are you talking about? He got adjudicated for freaking sexual assault, and then went out running his mouth, and then got freaking sued for defamation. Both of them happened.
No, the felony charges were.
There was never a felony
so-
charge for it.
No, okay. So the felony charges were for the loans and everything, but the defamation case was a defamation case because everything else didn't.
He
Nothing
never
came from
had a felony charge for sexual assault. He was sued for sexual assault. A jury of his peers, 12 people, including Trump supporters, all said that he did it unanimously. Okay. And then he was ordered to pay an amount of money. Then when he freaking was, instead of just paying the money and shutting the hell up, he went on TV talking shit about her. And when he did that, then he got sued for defamation on top of that.
So he paid. Wait, hold on. He paid it from the jury. Wait. That is no. You're telling me that he lost that and then he paid?
He lost the sexual assault charge? Yeah. Or sexual assault court? Yeah, absolutely.
And he paid it. And
For
then
that
he
one,
got
yeah. He
resued
didn't
for
pay the defamation one
and then he
yet.
got resued for defamation?
Yeah.
Well, you
But I also
only
never
get
said
sued
he
for
paid it. It doesn't
defamation
matter if he
you
paid
already
it or
paid
not.
out.
Him paying it or not has nothing to do with it.
Well, it does, because you just told me he paid it out.
Okay, sure.
as
He
far
didn't
as
pay
I
it out.
know-
It doesn't change anything.
Yes, it does.
All right, then I'll say he didn't pay it
because-
out.
Wait, no, if he paid it out, then
Regardless
he's allowed
of-
to say
sir.
whatever he wants. He wouldn't have gotten sued for defamation.
Yeah, if you freaking get sued for something and you have to pay it, you can still get sued for defamation on top of that. Do you not know how the law works?
Well, clearly you don't, because you just said he paid and then he didn't pay it.
Sir,
So did
I
he
said
pay
it
it or
doesn't
did he
matter.
not?
I don't care whether he paid it. It doesn't
Well,
change
you
my
told me he
stance.
paid it.
All right,
No,
sir.
you
Do you have
told me he
anything of
paid it.
this is the most boring, like worthless conversation that
Well,
I've
of
ever
course it is,
had
because
with another human
you're
being in
saying-
my entire
well,
life.
if he-
Sir, be
so if he
quiet.
paid
Sir,
it,
be
that means he
quiet.
lost.
Sir, be quiet.
That means
Sir,
he
be
lost the
quiet.
court case.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Wait, hold
1.
on. Let's change the
Be
subject
quiet.
then. Let's change the subject. Let's go to
You have
something else then.
exactly like the next 10 seconds to make an actual valid argument, or I'm literally just going to move on, because this is a
Well,
waste of everyone's breath and ears to even hear this conversation
All right, well,
going
let's
on,
change the
because
subject
this is
then.
fucking
Let's change the
ridiculous.
subject. Let's change the subject. What do you want to talk about?
Something with somebody else.
Well, why? Because you just said that he paid, then he actually
No,
didn't
because
pay,
I
and you
said that
didn't care?
him paying does not change anything with what I said.
Well, I was unaware that he paid, and that was news to me.
That's
So
why
was
I
like, oh.
said, I'll just say he didn't pay. It does not change the point. That is
Well,
what
it
I
changes
was
the legal
saying,
matter,
sir.
'cause if you pay out, that means you legally
Sir, if
lost.
you're sued and if I sue you for something and then you file bankruptcy and say you can't pay, does that change that you were sued? Does it change that you lost the lawsuit if I
Well, did
sue
he
you and
file
you
bankruptcy
file
and not
bankruptcy?
pay? Did he file bankruptcy
He was
and not pay
ordered.
that?
He was ordered to pay.
Are we talking about the Jean Carroll case, or what case are you talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about, sir. That's why I
All
said
right,
I'm
let's
tired of
change- all right.
talking to you.
All right, we'll change the subject. What other thing do you want to talk about? You want to talk about immigration?
I would
You wanna
rather talk
about-
to literally anyone else
Ta-
about anything ever.
Oh, taxes. You want to talk about immigration? You want to talk about foreign policy? What do you want to talk about?
With you, I'd rather not talk about anything, to be
So
completely
do
honest
you
with you.
want to talk about how the bombing of Iran was a
Sir,
good
do
thing? It
you
wasn't
not
an
hear
act
what
of
I'm
war?
saying? I don't
I'm-
want to
I'm
talk to
listening.
you about anything.
Well, no, we could. I mean, I get that. Most leftists, they kind of defer and hang up and cry, but I understand. Like, if
Yeah,
you
you're
wanna
right.
talk
I'm
about
crying. Bye.
different-
All right, cool. If you're going to move to ad homs, then I'll just hang up the phone. No big deal. Pretty simple. Not difficult for me at all. For some reason, people think that like, oh, you're scared. And it's going to be like, oh, I'm going to like fight you. I'm not. I'm just going to hang up the phone. I guess you're scared. I'm scared. Kyle, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. I really appreciate that. Oh, thank you so much for the glasses. I appreciate that too. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Said this guy has rocks for brains. Drop him. I was working on it. Sorry. I thought he might actually try to bring up a decent point at some point, but my bad. Thank you so much, Kyle. I really appreciate that. And Brad the Pagan, I do find it funny how this just popped into my recommended. If I popped into your recommended, congratulations, man. That means you're a pretty cool dude. Okay? If I popped into your recommendations, then you're a pretty cool dude. So welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, we're gonna reopen up these phone lines. Keep this thing going, y'all. If you guys are on the TikTok side, let's get this thing up to 50,000 likes. For the YouTube side, if you guys hit that like button for me, I really appreciate that. Oh, and Angie, thank you so much for the 2 jewels on YouTube. I appreciate that also. And Let Me Be, thank you so much for the star goggles. I appreciate that. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hi. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. I'm watching you right now. I just put you on mute so I could hear.
Awesome.
You,
How old are you?
better. 25.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yep.
Awesome. Why is that?
Because I think he's doing a great job dealing with World War III.
He's doing a great. We're in World War III.
World War III. Yeah, because remember, I don't know if you remember, but when Ukraine got invaded by Russia, that was World War III too. And so everybody's been telling me like I have to.
Is anyone going to tell the rest of the world?
Oh no, no. I don't think so. I don't think that anybody's going to tell the rest of the world. But...
Awesome. So we're in World War III and the world doesn't know. All right.
Yeah, nah. Do you have any thoughts on it? Any thoughts on the Palestine? I don't know.
On what you said? No, what you said was a bunch of nonsense that made no sense.
Not nonsense. Everybody says it's World War III. You're a fucking idiot. You haven't heard the Palestine-Iran conflict been called World War III? Even if it's as a joke, it's like you've never heard that shit?
No, I talk to intelligent people.
Okay, well, then don't talk to me. I'm not really intelligent. I just wanted to say
that I'll agree with you on.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
It's insane.
H. Jennick, thank you so much for the subscription on TikTok. I appreciate you. Yo, make sure you guys hit that subscribe or follow button. We do this every day, but Thursday. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Make sure you're following or subscribing. Hello, how are you today?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
I'm 38.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I do.
Awesome. Why is that?
I feel like a conservative party is the best party to run in the U.S. right now.
And what makes Donald Trump a conservative?
Just the basis of his politics and
like what?
How he conducts business and a myriad of other factors.
Yeah, what part of his platform makes him a conservative?
Well, his party for one thing.
No, his party, it doesn't mean anything. You can be completely opposite of your party. Like you can run as whatever you want. You're saying you're a conservative, and I'm asking you how Donald Trump fits into being a conservative, and just saying he has the little R next to his name doesn't make his policy conservative policy.
Well, if you look at his track record, I would say that he follows under those guidelines. I mean, can you name another politician who doesn't right now, who's actively pursuing on either the left or the right?
Actively pursuing a conservative line?
Like actively in one party, but going against their party lines.
Yeah, sure, all the time. Tulsi Gabbard, for example.
Like, I'm sorry?
Tulsi Gabbard, RFK?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about it.
I don't want to talk about those. I want to talk about the policy from Donald Trump that actually fits, and how it fits within the conservative line. That's what I asked.
I mean, his values and what he's run on, and the.
Sure, can you just give me an example?
Bills that I'm sorry? Can
you just give me an example? Because so far, the conservatism believes in, smaller government, less government spending, right? Donald Trump has added more debt than any president ever, right? We're at an all-time spending high when it comes to government spending right now. So when it goes into like fiscal conservatism, he's nowhere close, right? So we can throw the money part of conservatism out the window.
Are we
right?
talking about his first term, or are we talking about now?
We can talk about either.
Okay. So what are the facts as far as the first term?
He added $8.4 trillion in debt, which is more debt than any president has added ever in the history of the United States. A third of the national debt by the time he left office was just under his 4 years as president.
Including Biden's last 4 years?
Including Biden's last 4 years, yeah. All right, goodbye. I don't know where he went. L Bell, thank you so much for the subscription on TikTok. We are on a subwave, y'all. If you guys would like to support, that's a great way to do it. Brad the Pagan, thank you so much for the super chat again. I really appreciate that. It said may as well have to listen may as well have this to listen to. I do like listening to debates. Hell yeah, Brad. Brad, thank you so much. I really appreciate the super chat, Brad. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. There are worse places to be right now. There are worse places to be right now. I promise you that. All right, phone lines are open back up. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how are you today?
Good. How about you?
I am excellent. How old are you?
Great. I'm 18.
Awesome. What year were you born?
July. Coming up.
Year.
2006.
Okay, that checks. I'm not very good at quick math. Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Just fine. I do.
Awesome. Why is that?
Well, I personally do like his abortion policies.
Why?
Well, because I think it's morally and ethically wrong to kill human beings that are in the womb. That's why.
Why?
Because of what Trump, oh my gosh, I forgot. He had an executive order. No, he didn't. Sorry. Because Trump is anti-abortion, but I forgot, actually. Just slipped off my mind.
Oh, that's not what I asked you.
What do you mean, why? What do you at? What?
I asked you why you believe that it's morally wrong to kill a human being in the womb. Also, on top of that, I asked you on a secondary question that you can answer while you're at it. What do you think your morals have to do with anything with me?
Oh, no. We don't have to go off morals. We can just go off of the law of the land, you know.
Awesome.
It's wrong to murder people. That's wrong. It's morally.
Yeah, but abortion isn't murder, so therefore that doesn't qualify as anything.
Yeah, it is though. It is because
I'm sorry,
it
is it?
begins at conception. Yeah, actually, if you look at how babies develop.
Awesome. So if that's the case, then you should hate Donald Trump because Donald Trump says that if somebody is a victim of rape or incest, that you should be able to abort their child. So Donald Trump is therefore saying that murder is good in those cases. So you agree with that?
No. There is limits. There's limits, and there is small little nuances where that can take place in that case.
So
But
there's small
overall,
little
I think
nuances in which you say that murder is okay.
No, and when people can go out for that, like for example, actually, if you look on any chart, 1% of all cases of abortions are actually for the actual beneficial woman because she has some dangerous type. I'm not a doctor. She has some dangerous thing that is going to either kill the baby and her or just the baby.
Yeah,
There
awesome.
is.
So in those cases, you believe that murder is okay?
Yeah. I believe that aborting the baby, yeah. I do.
No.
I think
I'm not
that's
talking about
okay.
aborting the baby. You said that it is murder. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
So therefore, if it
Yeah.
is murder, you are saying there is some cases in your mind that justify murder.
Very little. Yeah, when it comes to that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So my morals say that in no way should we justify murder whatsoever. So I think morally you're reprehensible.
Oh, okay then, but you have no standing on that. So
Yes, I
you
absolutely do.
Really, at the end of, okay, that's
I
cool, but-
100% do. I believe that taking someone else's life is absolutely morally reprehensible.
Oh wow, okay. So you're actually, I'd actually agree with you too. I think
No, you don't agree with me because you're saying there are certain circumstances in which murder is okay. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I don't agree with
think
that.
It's insane.
Oh, okay. Okay then, that's cool.
Yeah. So why do you believe that murder is okay?
So actually, when you phrase it like that, no, I think that when it comes to in really rare cases, I'm talking about because you have to have some leniency with that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, no,
Only
I'm
in the
not
rare
saying murder-
cases where you
no,
believe
no.
murder is okay.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Yeah, I think that in that super small cases, I think that aborting it, if that's gonna
No, we're
save
not
their
talking
life,
about abortion. We're talking about murder. Do you not hear the word that I'm saying? No, sir, you don't get to use abortion when you're talking about ones that you want to ban, and then the ones you want to ban, you use murder, and then the ones you want to be able to keep, you use abortion. Let's keep it the same across the board. If you're saying across the board that abortion is murder, then I want you to explain why you justify murder. That's what I'm waiting for. Don't start using abortion now.
No. This is in the strict views of abortion. This is what we're talking about. I'm not going to talk about murder in the sense of killing a brother or homicide. That's
Gotcha. So
right,
abortion's not murder. Gotcha. Okay, cool. No, so that's what I was trying. That's what I was trying to understand because apparently you want to call it a certain thing, but only when it justifies your means. But then when it doesn't justify your means, you want to completely change the terminology. And here's the reason why that you do that. And let me explain to you because you don't believe that abortion is murder either. You don't actually believe that, sir. Because if you really truly believed that, Okay.
Yeah.
If you really truly believed that, okay, then abortion under all cases would be murder. All right. And
I think
therefore,
that there's an
no, sir,
exception. Yeah.
sir, I'm explaining your point for you. Please be quiet. Okay, awesome.
You're talking
Because,
over
sir,
me, and that's
sir,
disrespectful.
I'm trying to explain your point to you because you can't stay on target, and I don't want to
can
hear you.
explain my own point.
No, you're not. You're floundering over your own point. So I'm going to help you out here. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah,
if you
thanks for the
believe
help,
that
man.
it was
Appreciate it.
murder, okay, then it would be murder across the board. Okay. But you see how you change every single time. It's because you don't actually believe it. All right. Because if it was really murder, then it wouldn't matter whether it came from incest. It wouldn't matter if it came from rape. It wouldn't matter what the type of situation in which, a woman became pregnant is, because it would be murder across the board. That would be taking a human life, but you give justification for that. Therefore, you don't actually believe that that's murder. You believe that it's abortion.
No. Okay, let me clarify this so you don't confuse everyone in the chat.
Oh, they're doing fine.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, look at them.
You're having a rough time, but they're doing just fine over there. How's chat doing? Chat doing good?
They're probably spamming else right now. Anyway, what I wanted to say was more than 95% of the cases include because it wasn't the right time to have a child, or they don't want to, or they're in a financial situation. That is a problem. That should not be. That's sad. That is murder, 100%. I told you there's a little exception.
Again,
there's a little lenient.
Sir.
What?
So again,
What?
You're saying that one case of abortion is murder and one is not. So your logic,
both are technically murder, but it's just at the sake of the woman's life.
But one of them you're okay with.
That's a decision you have to make.
But one of them you're okay with. But one of them you're okay with.
I think most people would agree that.
I'm not asking about most people. I'm asking about you.
Yeah. I'd say that one is okay. In that sense. Yeah.
Gotcha. So that's why you don't actually, because again, sir, I've already beaten this argument. I don't know why we're going back to it. Okay. It is logically inconsistent. Okay.
No. Yes, you're right.
It is logically inconsistent. Okay. It is logically inconsistent. Okay. Your argument is logically inconsistent.
Listen, I think abortion is murder, period. But I think there's one exception. It's still murder. You're still killing a child. You're still killing a human when both
Can killing be justified?
Are in danger. What happened?
Can killing be justified?
In that sense?
No, just in any sense. Can killing be justified?
No. I can't make you can't make a claim like that and me saying yes or no. It depends. Yes, and killing is yes. It's yes and no, actually. That's a stupid argument. What the fuck?
I said it be. If there is a time when it is yes, then the answer is yes. That's what the question means. It can't be yes or no.
Yes, killing is justified in self-defense. Yeah.
Oh, so there are certain times when killing is justified.
Yes. Are you dumb?
It's only in self-defense?
No. In multiple ways. I can list
like
more.
What?
I'm just telling you there's more. Okay. So, for example, killing is justified when it comes to murdering another human child because your wife is dying because, the baby has some type of tumor or whatever, something you have to deal with the doctor. And then self-defense. And then when we go to war with other country, because, you agree to that. And yeah, I've given you 3. So I don't know if you want to add a little more to that. I'm not going to keep rambling on about that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yes no.
So if somebody is like say you come home and somebody do you have like a significant other?
No, I do not right now.
All right. Can you imagine if you did?
Yep.
All right. You come home and you find somebody, you walk in your house and somebody is sexually assaulting them. Are you okay to defend them at that point?
Defend my wife or my significant other?
Yep.
Defend them in what way?
Shooting the person in the head.
Okay. First of all, if they're trespassing, then I definitely pull out a gun and tell them to get the hell out right now. And then I grab my significant other, and then if things escalate, that person permits as a dangerous personal threat to me and my, let's just say, family, and they could kill me, then yeah, I would defend myself, yeah.
Perfect. So you're saying that when there is a threat, when there can be harm that is done to one of your loved ones or yourself, then that is justified?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Is there a singular pregnancy in the history of all pregnancies that cannot cause, that does not have the potential of causing harm to the woman?
Physical harm.
Yes.
Say that again. Say that again. I'm sorry.
Is there a situation, Marilyn, thank you so much for the subscription. Is there a situation in any pregnancy in the history of human beings, right, in which the pregnancy does not have the potential to harm the mother or harm the woman, the pregnant woman?
All the time, dude. That's what 95% of the cases of abortions are, of inconvenience to the woman.
No,
Yeah.
that's not what I asked you, sir. Sir, that's not what I asked you.
Okay. You asked if there's
Insane.
say
Has there
one more
ever been
time,
a
dude.
singular pregnancy in the history of humankind where it does not have the potential to harm the woman?
Where it does not have the potential. Everything has the potential to do something. It doesn't matter if it happens. It matters if it happens or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does harming the woman that's pregnant necessarily mean unaliving her?
Excuse me?
Does harming the woman necessarily mean unaliving her?
What do you mean harming? Like punching her? What?
Does a pregnancy have the ability to harm a woman without unaliving her?
Yeah.
It
wait,
does.
Wait, sorry, hold on. You said say that again. Sorry. You said does a pregnancy have the opportunity to hurt a woman without unaliving her?
Yes.
Depends how you define hurt. Yeah, in a medical sense.
No,
yeah.
it doesn't depend on how I define hurt. There is literally
Well, is it
you can
emotional
define
hurt? Is it a physical hurt?
emotional hurt. You mean like a psychological hurt?
Yeah,
is
like,
that what
oh,
you
I'm
mean?
having a child,
Because it can do
like,
all of them.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that's true.
postpartum
Yeah.
depression. How about that?
Oh yeah, that's true. But you also have to take in the fact that there's a less than 1% chance that it does actually end up harming the woman. In that case, then I think.
Hold on.
abortion
Where are
should
you
be-
getting that stat from?
Oh, okay, I'll pull it up for you. Don't worry. Just go to any clinic or the national average. Yeah, let me find it for you.
Yeah, sure. I would love to see how there is less than 1% chance of a pregnancy harming a woman.
No. Sorry, less than 1% of all abortions. That
We're not talking about abortion, sir. Nobody's talking about abortion.
This is the whole
You're
conversation.
trying to respond with everything in an abortion context. I'm not talking about an abortion right now. We are
That's what
talking
we're
about
talking
pregnant
about.
women.
Pregnant women.
Yes.
There's always a chance that the baby, human being inside her stomach, could potentially hurt her, in a medical sense. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So are you okay with the fact that women right now are dying because of abortion laws?
Okay, first of all, I want you to find that statistic where it says that there's been because if that was the case, then I'm pretty sure the left, the right, and everything in between is probably going to be reporting on that and then criticizing Trump. But as of now, I haven't seen any posts on that. Nothing.
Amber
So I'd like you
Thurman,
to pull up that information.
Nevaeh Crane,
I'd like you to
Kate
pull-
Cox.
How many of those people, in the average, and all the women in the entire world, in America, how
Hey,
much?
sir,
what is that
I don't know if you
percentage?
know this or not. Did you know that fetuses don't develop in the stomach?
No. I know in the uterus. Yes, you understood my analogy. Stop making that's a red herring. Right
Yes,
there.
I
You're
understand that
distracted
it was
from
stupid.
arguing. Yeah. It was a.
What's an ectopic pregnancy?
What?
What's an ectopic pregnancy?
Ectopic?
Ectopic, yeah.
No, I don't know that. What? Educate me.
Why should I educate you, sir? You seem to be a professional on abortion and pregnancy. Why would I need to educate you on this?
The reason why I talk about that, what? Wait. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Wait. I'm pretty sure that's when you fertilize outside of the womb, correct?
Yeah, it's good Google.
Yeah. Thank you. I did Google it, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, continue. What is your point?
I'm just trying to figure out how much you know because you don't seem to know much about what's going on. You think babies grow in stomachs. You don't know what an ectopic pregnancy is. I'm just wondering why you think that you get to be the professional on what's going on inside of a woman's body when she's pregnant and not women or doctors.
Perfect. You asked that. I'll ask you that. Perfect question. Mm-hmm. Okay. So first of all, it's a human right. Abortion is a human right and an ethical issue. It's not.
You're right.
just
Abortion is a
woman's
human
issue.
right. You are 1,000% right on that.
And an ethical issue as well. And
An
society
ethical
where
reason. Who
laws
decides
protect-
ethics?
Sir, I'm not gonna get into that right now because I'm
Why?
not feeling that. But according to the United States, the ethic. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yes, they can get touchy. Yes, because your ethics are different from mine.
I'm not
yes,
touched
I
at all.
understand what you're saying. Oh no, that's fine.
See, that's where we get into like when you want to talk about like ethics and efficacy and morality and all that sort of stuff. Sir, first of all, let's make this very, very clear, okay? if you have certain morals or ethics in which you want to abide by, nothing is stopping you from abiding by them. But see, the problem becomes when you try to make that law for other people that do not hold your same morality to then hold up to that to those ethics.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
We
So
can not even get
therefore,
into
if
that.
you don't want an abortion, don't have one. But that doesn't mean that you should be advocating for other people to not be able to have them also just because of your ethical stance. And you know what? As an American, I very, very much support you not having an abortion if you don't want one. I don't think we should be like in certain countries where literally we have where they had forced abortion, right? Where like, we had the one child rule in multiple Asian countries. I don't agree with that at all. I don't believe in any way, shape, and form that you should be forced to have an abortion if you don't want to. I think that that's horrible. But I also don't think that you get to tell other people whether or not they can have one. Because again, their morality doesn't meet yours. All right. Also, neither does science, but
Okay. Well, we'll go into more expanded points. Well, I'll just tell you that I think any man should just speak on this because men could be fathers, and they have a biological stake, you know that, in the fetus and emotional investment in the pregnancy outcome. So it's needed to have pregnancies, man and a woman. That's another one. Another one is free speech.
An
and
emotional
democracy.
stake doesn't give you the opportunity to control someone else's body.
I said a biological stake.
A biological state doesn't either. Stake doesn't either.
Because you need a man and a woman to make a child, sir.
So what?
You should know that.
So what?
So what? So you have a stake. You have a 50% ownership of that person.
You don't have ownership of another human being. Are you advocating for the ownership of another human being?
Oh my gosh. You know what I mean.
No, I don't know what you mean, sir. You don't. You obviously don't have children. Are you saying that right now your parents own you?
No. Before 18.
But your parents have a biological stake in you, apparently. You're 50% each of them. So I don't even, where are your parents? Why am I even talking to you right now? I think I need to go get your parents because apparently they own you because they have a biological stake in you.
Okay, you got it. Yes, they do, actually. Do you not know? 23, right? 23 chromosomes, 23.
Yeah, where are they? Go get them.
Go get them, yeah. I might be missing one
why,
or two.
Why did they let their property come on my live?
Oh, I don't know. We can go the same with you, but that you understand, right? That men have an a biological stake. That's the reason why we.
What do you mean by a biological stake, sir?
Are you dumb? You really want me to explain this to you, right?
Ad homs. That's cute.
Oh yeah, that's fun. You do that all the time in your life. Anyway.
You're a fan.
Yeah, well. I have watched once or twice.
Oh man, you would think you would have been smart enough to come up here and argue this dumb shit.
Okay, well,
if you're such a fan,
I'm not the one asking why men have a biological stake in a fetus. So you have to figure that out on your own. But
no, and you have refused to answer.
Do you really want me to answer?
Yes.
How men have a biological?
I've asked you 3 times now. I don't know how else I can ask you to answer the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when the man and the woman, have sex, the sperm and the egg connect, and then the sperm has 23 chromosomes of the man. And
sir, how does that give a sir? You're just explaining how there is a biological passing on of genetic material. You're not explaining how there's a biological stake. A stake means that you're freaking there's a wager on it.
No. When I say stake, I mean there's quite literally half of that person basically comes from the man and half comes from the woman.
That's not a biological stake, sir. That's just saying there is a genetic passing on of DNA. That's all there is. That's not a stake, sir. That's why I kept asking you to explain what you're saying, because you keep saying biological stake, and biological stake doesn't make any fucking sense. That's why I was asking you. So I'll return the question to what you were saying. Are you dumb?
Okay, so you don't understand. Okay, you know what? This is stupid. All right, I'm going to move on. What could we talk about? Oh, we could talk about the Supreme Court, how they just ruled against children being indoctrinated with LGBTQ propaganda. The parents get the option to opt them out, which is great. That's good because there's been a lot of pornographic materials and other disgusting things.
All right, cool. Show me one example of pornographic material from the LGBTQ community going into elementary schools. I'll wait.
Okay. Well, first of all, a sign of credibility with the Supreme Court, which is the highest law
Sir,
of the
sir,
land.
sir. The Supreme Court didn't say that there was pornographic material happening in the schools. So where is that?
It did, because the books have been indoctrinated with LGBT
Yeah,
propaganda.
again, sir, the Supreme Court ruling did not say that.
It did.
No, the Supreme Court said that they could remove them for freaking books containing topics that include the LGBTQ plus community. They never said there was pornographic material in there.
No. Yes, exactly. Well, you know that entails with the LGBTQ propaganda is involved in the disgusting graphic images in these books.
Yeah, sir. You know what this Supreme Court ruling does?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely fucking nothing.
No, it's actually really important.
No, it's not.
It is, because children's lives, they get messed up. And
yeah, sir, there was actually no books like that were in any curriculum in any school in the United States. So therefore,
if this was brought up to the Supreme Court, the highest law of the land, there has to be at least multiple
then show me one
on that. Oh my God, you really okay? That's fine. No. I'll pull it up for you. Don't worry. Yep.
Okay.
LG. I got you. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, he's trying to find me a curriculum that any freaking school, accepted that had freaking this material in it. That'd be really, really great. I really appreciate that.
You really there's been whole protests on this.
Yeah, right? Sir. I don't need to hear anything else from you. Just get to the evidence. All right. Cool. Bugs in the Vault, thank you so much for the super chat. Says Trump has convinced uneducated right wingers and conservatives into believing he represents us. He isn't conservative. He's Trump. 100%. I don't know how conservatives support him whatsoever. But thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that, Bugs. And Angela, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. It says, I will always support people who try to show pro-lifers how absurd their argument was. I just made this guy just quit his argument completely. He just completely just left the entire argument and is now trying to argue a complete. Sir, I'm not talking to you unless you are showing me evidence. The only words I want to hear about out of your mouth is www.whateverbullshitifound.com. Okay.
Wow.
Awesome. Thank you, Angela. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. I really appreciate that. And Colin, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Says, props to you for putting yourself out there debating the other side. Also, this goes out to Denise from the other night asking people to stop giving you money. Thank you, Colin. I appreciate that. And thank you, Denise, for asking so hard that it traveled lives. All right, traveled 2 days and got all the way to this one. So thank you so much, Colin. I really appreciate the $10 super chat. That really means a lot. All right, did you find my evidence of that curriculum yet?
I have plenty. Yeah, I have books that.
All right, where's it at?
Okay, so we have one book called
No. I want you to show me where it was in a curriculum. Not that the book exists. I know there's LGBTQ plus books that exist. I want you to show me where it was in a curriculum.
Oh yeah, sure, I got one. Okay,
sure.
So we'll go here. All right, let me pull the web.
Oh, so you have to go look for it again. All right. We'll just keep going through super chats while you try to figure that out. Philip, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate that. It says, I'm from Australia. How do I call you, man? Well, it's still the same number. I don't know if it's like international calls or whatever. So I don't really know. I've never been to Australia. I need to go. But thank you so much for the $2. I guess that A is for like Australian dollars. I don't even know what that calculates to. But thank you so much, man. And Mark Nees, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. It says this color is not right in the head. Yeah, I think I agree with that. I don't even know what he's going on right now. Ugh. Angela, thank you so much. You said he did not say all the time. I don't know. Sorry, I must have missed that part. There must have been a reference in there I missed. But thank you so much. All right, did you find my book in the curriculum yet?
I have plenty of books here. Yes.
All right, so show me where the book is in a curriculum. Tell me where I can find that.
Okay, sure. I got you. Oh my God. I got you. All right. So this book called Genderqueer initially received a small printing and was marketed towards older teens and adults. It increasingly entered the collection of high schools and middle school libraries after receiving an Alice Award in 2020, an award given by the American Library Association The books written for adults have special appeal to young adults ages 12 through 18. Since 2021, its inclusion in American libraries, particularly school libraries, have been frequently challenged based on the presence of sexually explicit illustrations. Blah, 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 blah. And the book is currently banned now because of that.
Awesome. So nowhere in there did you say it was in a single curriculum. I rest my case. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Did I stutter when I said it doesn't have to be in a curriculum? It has to be in school libraries,
Sir,
attainable to children.
the Supreme Court ruling said that parents could remove their children from classes in which LGBTQ topics were taught in the class. If it's being taught in the class, it's part of the curriculum, not in a library.
Sir?
Okay? It didn't say anything because guess what, sir? Because guess what, sir? People could already just leave libraries. There's no like lock on the library. There's no like armed guards outside the library. Parents are like trying to get into their kids. Oh my God, guys, can I get to my kids? They're in the library. Oh my goodness.
So you don't think that's a problem? Indoctrinating children with those disgusting...
Sir, they're not indoctrinated because, again, it's not in a curriculum. But anyways, this conversation could be better spent talking to somebody who wants to have a genuine argument. You obviously don't.
Oh, okay. So, I have one more question before I go.
Me too. How do you like the sound of me hanging up? All right, cool. And Kratz, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, good job. You're very smart and composed. Wish I was more like you when I want to talk to MAGA people in my life. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I was doing a little bit of a different pro-life argument on that one. I usually take things a little differently in that argument, but I was trying a little different test out. How'd you guys like it? Did it work out okay? That was a little bit of a different way to attack the abortion topic. I was kind of playing around with it a little bit, so hopefully it sounded good. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Yeah. So thank you guys so much. And thank you again, Kratz, for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. And Kayla, thank you so much for the $5 Venmo. Says, has he ever heard of postpartum psychosis and what it means for women and their families? Kayla's my resident therapist over here. Also, babies don't grow in the stomach. Yes, Kayla, I think we got to that. Babies, in fact, do not grow in the stomach. So far, I have had two guys tell me. One told me that babies grow in the stomach, and one thinks the 60-year-old women have periods. So we're getting the whole gambit over here. And Kookie, thank you so much. Says, caller be drinking. Heard the bottle touch down. He should touch down on his keyboard to actually find an answer. Thank you guys so much for the support. Again, y'all, if you guys like support, I do have the super chats up. We'll split them up. We'll talk about them. We'll have fun like we've been having with all of these, and I really appreciate all of those. Or if you would like to send through the pay links, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, they're all at Polypolitics, and they're all in my link tree in my bio, so I really appreciate that. Hello, welcome to Live. How are you today?
Hey, what's going on?
Hi.
I was just calling in. I heard your... I don't really know if I would call that a debate, but your conversation with the last guy who called in.
That wasn't a debate at all. Yeah.
No, I feel like you're one of those people that thinks that you're more intelligent the more articulate you are. And so people listen to you because you speak well, generally speaking.
Sir, I don't think I'm
calling someone
incredibly
like
intelligent
stupid or whatever.
I don't. First of all,
why are you holding a debate? If you don't think you're intelligent, why would you do this?
Sir, can
I think that I'm intelligent. So
all right. Well, I'm going to try one more
are...
time to get words out, and if you keep talking, then I'm just going to move on. Sound good?
Okay.
Perfect.
I mean, no, I actually
great.
want to talk about the...
I don't
All
care.
right,
Be quiet. Anyways, what I was saying is I don't consider myself just overly intelligent. There are a lot more people that are a lot more intelligent than me. But if you compare me to people like that last guest, I'm pretty much Stephen fucking Hawking, all right? I'm a fucking genius in comparison to that last guy, all right? So that's all I was trying to say.
Like by doing the Trump thing, I'm a genius, I'm the best, I'm smart, compared to everyone who doesn't like me?
No, but I mean, compared to you,
you even admitted on your show that you do this for entertainment only. Do you hold valid opinions?
Oh, he's a fan, guys. Oh my goodness, he watches my show enough to know that he's a fan.
Actually,
I haven't said that one time today. All right, I haven't said that one time today. So this guy has watched me so many times.
I've watched you twice.
That he now freaking apparently
and it was
knows
because
my
I was
entire
scrolling through the shorts and you pop up.
But thank you, sir. I really appreciate the fandom. I always need people like you here, so thank you so much.
You should be happy. You're getting pushed into my algorithm, right? I mean, there's a reason for it. You know, maybe somebody out there wants to change my opinion. I guess. I sort of wanted to have a conversation with you or kind of pick up where your last caller left off.
Are you going to do so with a little more? Are you going to be able to do so with a little more, like couth to yourself?
A what? A coots? What is a coots?
A little more couth.
Couth? Oh, couth. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe. I don't really know. Look, by the way, not everyone is articulate or well-spoken. That doesn't mean that they're stupid or that they don't have
you're the only
opinions.
one calling people stupid.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I was saying that the last guy wasn't really articulate or able to really kind of substantiate himself very much. And sometimes not everyone's like that, okay? Not everyone's a talker. That doesn't mean that their opinions are completely invalid. I listen to people in my line of work all the time.
I'm really over the crying. Can you get to a point?
I'm not. Okay. Well, let's talk about abortion. Why not? You were talking with the last guy, right?
I'd rather not.
What's your genuine? Well, wow, what's your genuine concern about abortion? I mean, it's only gone up every year, regardless of all this fear mongering about laws that Trump's going to impose. You realize the average American actually supports abortion. So, what are you even fighting for?
I mean, agree that the average American supports abortion.
Right. So, what is this whole thing by the Democrat Party sticking to this?
I'm not a Democrat, and I didn't bring up the topic. I actually just specifically said. I also actually. Sir, I actually also specifically said that I don't even particularly want to talk to you about this because I don't want to have this conversation with you. You're the one that brought it up, just like the last guest was the one that brought it up. I never, in my entire fucking time that I've been doing this, which is over a year and a half.
You don't need to swear to make your point.
Yeah, but it's my live, and I'll swear all the fuck I want. Okay, in my entire time in doing these lives, in my entire time doing these lives, not once have I ever brought up the abortion topic. I've never brought up the abortion topic, and I've never ever brought up the transgender topic. Those are topics that you guys bring up to me.
Well, I'm sure you're aware of, the cultural attitudes now. That's what people want to talk about. So you shouldn't be surprised being someone who's plugged in constantly.
I'm not surprised about it, but you said, why is that a Democratic talking point? And it's not.
It is
you
a Democratic
guys talk about
point.
it. You guys talk about it. I don't. And also, I'm not a Democrat.
Well, I think that the reason that the Republicans talk about it is because a lot of them have a moral opposition to it. And they also find it interesting the kind of people that are getting targeted for abortions anyways. Because it's not really about abortion. It's about who is having the abortions.
The right doesn't like it because they're afraid of it. That's all it is.
Afraid of what? No, when you look past the whole abortion facade, what you really see is the people that are getting targeted for abortions. It's not about the abortion itself. It's about the fact that all the people who get abortions are Americans, and then they bring in the replacements who aren't targeted with abortion ads.
Great replacement theory. Great.
Not great. So let me get this straight. So if a political party supports abortions for the natives, but not for the newcomers, that's just a coincidence to you. These genius political actors that run the entire system are doing everything. They have no idea what they're doing. It's all a coincidence, guys. Is that right? Is that how the system works? Everything's an accident?
You're a full idiot.
Sort of a happenstance?
Holy shit.
You think that I'm an idiot. What do you do for a living? You talk all day?
No.
I figure out, what I do?
Trust me, I don't get enough
I
don't get paid enough. Sir, I promise you I don't get paid enough to listen to your bullshit right now. Okay?
You know why I get paid enough?
I
actually do because I figure out complex problems for people.
Could not care. You should figure out the complex problems of your emotions before you talk to other people, okay? When I say that I believe that women...
You have the intonations of a female.
All right, sir. Again, if I can't get a word out, then I'll just hang up and talk to someone who can be an adult, all right?
I don't think it would matter if you could or not.
Okay, cool. When I say that women and their doctors should be able to make the decisions on a woman's body, I don't mean, only white people and not the natives, which is like super fucking weird for anybody to say. I mean all women.
The natives of America, like my family was here before America. But that's not what's happening, though. But that's not what's happening.
Whether it is what is happening or not, you're making it this left talking point that somehow there's a support for people that want to get the correct medical care for themselves based off of their race, and that's just fucking ridiculous. That's more of the
Can I give you an example?
No.
Can I give you an example of something?
Not really.
What? Dude, let me give you an example. It has nothing to do with abortion.
Well, you shouldn't have asked then.
Okay, fine. Do you want me to just yell at you, or can I just give you an example?
You've been doing that pretty much the whole time, so it doesn't surprise me.
I haven't yelled at you. I'm being disagreeable. Okay, I'm not yelling at you.
You're really just being kind of annoying.
I'd love to give you I'd love to give you a really good example of how I see things as working, if you'd like.
Well, I mean, you're already talking about replacement theory, which is like a super racist stance. So I'm not really sure I want to hear like your whole like rhetoric on everything when you think that, freaking white people are getting abortions and then all the freaking and then all the fucking immigrants are coming in and taking their spots, which is pretty much what you've already said to me. So like,
dude, I
really
just find
truly
it so
like why the fuck would I really give a shit? What the fuck do you have to say about it?
What do you? Okay, so I have a question. So let's just talk about. Have you ever heard of the MAID program in Canada? You ever heard of that? You've never. How are you even online rambling about your opinions?
All right. Anyways, we're gonna move on to a caller that actually has like his self together, because that is fucking ridiculous. Guys, can you believe this guy hasn't heard of a Canadian policy? Sorry, I don't even know every American policy. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, how are you today?
Hi. Is this the debate on supporting Trump?
Yes, it is. How old are you?
I am 32 years old.
You're 32 years old? Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Somewhat.
All right, awesome. We'll get to that in 1 second. Sharon, dude, can we get the big W's in the chat for Sharon for the huge $50 PayPal? Oh my God, thank you so much, Sharon. Big W's in the chat for Sharon for the huge $50 PayPal. That is absolutely insane. Thank you so much. Huge W's in the chat for Sharon. I really appreciate that. All right, we're gonna see if we're gonna hit one or two super chats real quick, and then we'll move on. I'll hit the rest of them on the way back through. Philip said, "What stadium streaming from I can work it out how I call you?" I'll be honest with Philip. I thank you so much for the super chat. I don't 100% know what that means. What streaming? I just have the phone number, man. It's above my head. That's all I got. But I don't really know. Maybe someone can translate that for me. And Angie, thank you so much for this $4.99 super chat. Says another therapist here. Please send the MAGA baby, the crybaby MAGA supporters to me. Angie, you're gonna have to split them with Kayla. Okay, you're gonna have to split them with Kayla. You guys, or if not, your guys' schedules will be too full. You guys won't be able to do it all on your own. All right, so we'll get them to all of you guys. Thank you so much. And Jose, thank you so much for the 2 jewels. I will get to the rest of super chats as soon as we are done with this guest. So hold tight. I really appreciate you guys. If you like support, again, the super chats are there, and all the pay links are there. So thank you so much. All right. So why do you support Trump, guest? I'm sorry about that.
I think the only reason that I kind of support Trump is because of his, we can all agree kind of as he's very egotistical. The things he says are egregious, but what he does, he stands by it. And I don't know if you saw today at all. I mean, most Americans were oblivious. I was oblivious to this today, that he signed that deal between Congo and Rwanda, and it was a 30-year ongoing war since 1996. And if you look it up, there was over 8 million deaths in that 30-year time frame. I don't think any other president could have done that. I mean, if you go back and you kind of look through.
Hold on, just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
If you didn't know it existed before today, then how do you think that no other president could have done it?
Well, I was just saying that I didn't personally know, and most Americans don't know. Like, most Americans really aren't kind of in tune to that type of stuff, because, I mean, what we get is through social media and then whatever the news broadcasts to us. And a lot of times the news isn't broadcasting those type of wars that have been going on for 30 plus years in those African nations.
I understand that not everybody was aware that this war was even going on. Okay, totally correct.
Right.
Understand that. If you didn't know that it existed before today, then how are you telling me that only Trump could have done it?
Well, because he was pretty much, did any other president actually kind of attempt to bring that to light or whatever? Like, can you name me the previous, any administrations? Can you tell me?
Sir, do you think that he would have brought that to light had the deal not been signed?
If the deal had not been signed?
Yeah.
Well, she's always trying to make a deal.
Yeah, he fails almost across the board. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, you're saying, oh, no other president brought it to light. Well, why didn't he bring it to light before that?
Why didn't he bring it to light before that?
Yeah, if he cared so much about Rwanda and the Congo, why didn't he bring it out first?
That's kind of hypothetical.
Well, no, it's not hypothetical. It's because he didn't care about it. He just cares about looking good.
Well, yeah, exactly. Doesn't most presidents? I mean, it's kind of optics.
No, a lot of presidents actually care about the American people first and then care about looking good. Donald Trump cares about looking good regardless of what it does to the American people.
Right. So can I say this? Did you know about that? Did you know about the 8 million deaths then?
Yeah, I watched Hotel Rwanda 20 years ago.
Okay.
That was a very,
There you
very
go.
popular movie.
But
like,
I was just saying like
I thought we all knew about that, honestly.
I was just saying like, yeah, well, I didn't. I mean, can you ask how many people in your chat knew about that? I mean, some of them know. I mean, I was just saying like, I mean, if you look back on like everything, okay, so I'm just like, it's better to actually have a strong leader, like in the broad term. Okay, you're not going to fuck with this guy, even though deals aren't going to go through. War is, it's pretty much going to go until the end of time, right? Like everyone's going to keep fighting.
Donald Trump never even mentioned this war before anything. You're saying that he's standing on peace, he's standing on all this, he's standing on that, he's standing on this, he's standing on that. He never has even mentioned this. Okay. And we still, even at this point, have no idea what he actually did with any of this agreement. Okay. I know that he's saying that he brokered this huge deal, but he also said that he brokered this huge deal between India and Pakistan. And it took the Indian president coming out and saying, no, Donald Trump didn't do shit for this. We did it all on our own.
That's not what I'm saying, because I don't know like the details behind that. But what I'm saying is, would you have someone in place of leadership that, hey, this guy doesn't mess around, he stands on business.
He doesn't stand.
We're going to get on his good side. We're going to strike a deal with him.
What business is he standing on? What deal has he made?
I'm not talking about specific details. I'm just saying like it's all really pretty much an illusion. Like because you're going to fuck with Biden, you're going to fuck with Obama, you're going to fuck with George W. Bush.
Who fucked with Biden?
No one respects.
Who fucked with Biden?
Who fucked with Biden? Well, no one, because they didn't respect him.
So gotcha. So no one's gonna fuck with Trump because they respect him, but nobody fucked with Biden because they don't respect him. Is that what we're saying here?
Well, I'm pretty much saying that fucking. Sorry for my cussing, but I honestly don't think that in that time, if Trump was in office, he would have actually invaded Ukraine. Because I mean,
he probably wouldn't have invaded Ukraine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because he was weak.
Biden?
Trump.
Oh, Trump.
Yeah, because Trump was trying to pull us out of NATO, because Trump was being used like a puppet from Vladimir Putin, because Putin was literally doing whatever he wanted when Trump was president. So there was literally absolutely no reason to invade. It wasn't actually until Biden came in and put his foot down when it came to Ukraine. And that is when they were like, and said like, hey, Ukraine is doing the right thing. They can actually be a part of this. And then it actually turned around, and then Russia got scared and attacked. See, scared people attack. You don't understand that? Like, that's when people attack, is when they're scared.
Well, so you're saying Putin was scared?
He was.
Yeah, exactly.
He was scared of Biden.
And no one was scared of him.
Yes, he was. See, you guys for some reason think that like, oh, he's like kind of old and feeble, so no one's afraid of him. Like he doesn't have the nuclear football. Like, it doesn't matter how freaking old and feeble you are. If you control the world's strongest fucking military and the nuclear football and the world's largest economy, everyone fears you, okay? As long as you can actually have strong stances on things, which Biden did, okay? That's why they had, like, the dark Brandon memes and all that sort of stuff. Biden stood on what the fuck he said. Okay. Trump doesn't. Trump gets folded every 2 seconds. Every single time he says, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to have a freaking red line. We're going to have like all this stuff. He gets folded. Oh, we're going to do all of these trade. We're going to put tariffs on everybody. And I'm not bringing the tariffs off until everybody makes a deal. And then 20 days later or 30 days later, oh, we're going to take all the tariffs off, even though there's been no deal. Okay. I'm going to end the war between Ukraine and Russia within 24 hours of being president-elect. 6 months, 7 months after that.
It's posturing. I can get that. It's posturing.
No, it's lying, okay? It's pretending to be a hard ass when you're not. And that's why Putin is over there literally spreading nudes of Melania on Russian
Biden
fucking...
never promised to be a hard ass when he
Sir, did you hear me when I just said that literally, Putin is putting nudes up of Melania on Russian state television? You think that's respect?
He's doing what?
He's putting nudes up of Melania on TV, on Russian state television. You think that's respect?
Okay, that doesn't affect me whatsoever. So
I didn't ask if it affected you. I asked you how that was respect.
I don't care.
So now all of a sudden, you don't care whether it's respect or not. Just a second ago, you were all about, it's all about respect and being strong and fucking, being and all this sort of stuff. And I showed you a perfect example about other countries' leaders don't respect Donald Trump whatsoever. And now all of a sudden, you don't care about it.
You didn't show me. You just told me something.
Okay. Would you like me to show you? Because I can do that. Because it's everywhere. It's not hard.
Well, I mean, I might get hard seeing those pictures, Melania, but I don't care about that. Yeah, I know it's weird, but fucking, why would you care about that? Like, why?
Why would I care if other countries have enough respect for our president to not spread freaking nude pictures of their wife? Because again, like you said, being an actual strong president and actually having respect across the world is important.
You can go out there right now and you could just fucking Photoshop someone's wife on a fucking website. Who cares?
Yes, but what I can't do is put it on state-run television in front of my entire country to have state-run representatives sit there and make fun of it in front of my entire country. That's what Putin can do, and that's what he's doing.
So what did Putin say about Trump, though? Like, when he was actually questioned about him, he said that he actually did respect him, that he's a good businessman.
Yeah, he says that in English, and then he goes on Russian television and makes fun of him.
Yeah, who cares? As long as they're not fucking with us.
Obviously you don't actually care whether our president is respected, whether our president actually has a good standing across the world, whether anybody freaking actually gives a shit about what he says. You only care that you think Donald Trump is strong, and then every piece of evidence that I give you outside of that, you just go, I don't care about that.
No, I think you're just kind of fixing your own narrative and going off of that.
No, sir, I'm challenging your narrative, and you just don't like it.
My narrative is that I don't want wars. I want more money in American people's pockets. That's all I want.
Well, Donald Trump is creating more wars and also at the same time taking money out of the average American's pockets. So congratulations. Yeah. You got the opposite of that.
Yeah, there's only time can tell,
Nope, time is right now. We can tell immediately.
Okay. So how do you feel about them calling Donald Trump a Nazi? That he's against democracy when you have someone, when they know that Joe Biden is completely incapable at that time of running, right? And they knew that, so then they had to say, hey, we're going to put Kamala Harris out here and then not have a vote to put her in the head of, the DNC or whatever.
They did have a vote.
Well, they just kind of elected her. That's not really democracy, is it?
Nope, just no one ran against her.
You can't just put that in there, and she kind of she had like a 1% favorable, but in her first time running, going against
Donald Trump couldn't even get a major fucking party to take him when the first time he ran.
Well, that's why the more than 50% of America voted for him.
The first time he ran? When did the first time when Donald Trump ran for president?
No, I'm strictly just talking about.
When was the first time that Donald Trump ran for president?
That I don't know, but I know that I'm talking about. The only thing that I was talking about was I asked you a question and you didn't answer it.
What was the question? Because you're talking about Kamala Harris's first time.
You completely circumvented my whole entire question.
What's your question?
And then started saying. My question was. Okay.
You don't know your question? How am I supposed to know your question? You don't even know your question.
Because I was drinking since Friday, brother. I'm sorry.
That's pretty obvious.
Yeah, definitely. No, but I was just saying. So you call that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, right? And they put Kamala Harris up there without an actual vote, just because she was the vice president. Who had a vote? Who voted for
her? The electorate.
The electorate voted for her.
Yeah.
But no one wanted her in there.
Really? That's why she got like 77 million votes?
Well, yeah, because it's only the worst of two evils right there. So you're gonna.
Sir, I'm sorry, you don't get 77 million votes because nobody wants you in there. If you want to talk about somebody that nobody wanted in there, you can talk about like RFK.
Somebody completely weak that just speaks a bunch of gobbledygook are you going to get somebody that stands on fucking business like Donald Trump?
Well, apparently we're just going to take a bunch of gobbledygook because we voted for the guy who speaks in gobbledygook. The person who actually speaks eloquently and actually, knows what she's talking about and actually has degrees in economics and law and actually has extensive experience in our government. We didn't vote for her. We instead voted for Donald Trump, who's up on the freaking White House floor going, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Or whatever the fuck he said.
Crazy. He's crazy. He's a fucking comic, but...
He's an idiot.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I agree with you on that standpoint, but I'm just saying, some people respect him.
Obamner.
They do.
Need to see his birth certificate. Obamner. Driving the Tesla.
So what do you think, hypothetically, okay, right now, Iran and Israel, would there have been any resolution as quick as Donald Trump has had it within his first, 150 days of office? Would there have been any, ceasefire, even though it's completely,
the ceasefire from the attack that happened under Trump?
Yeah, well, yeah, they definitely happened, but...
So let me get this straight. Donald Trump,
they're always going to keep fighting.
Israel attacks Iran under Trump. You don't say anything about that. You don't blame him for that at all. Then we literally attack Iran. No, nothing on that one. But then when it's stopped, you're like, oh, thank God, Trump is here to save us from the attack that happened 4 seconds ago, and literally an attack that we just had that the United States did. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? You don't get credit for putting out the fire on the house that you freaking set on fire.
Yeah, but did you look at any statements? I mean, Bill Clinton said Iran will not have nuclear weapons. George W. Bush, Iran will not have nuclear weapons. Biden, Iran will not have nuclear weapons.
Obama actually got a deal done to make sure that they didn't have nuclear weapons. One that was actually working. Trump pulls us out of that deal.
Okay,
Trump pulls us out of the deal that literally stopped them from having nuclear weapons.
But in good conscience, do you really think that those people are going to stop just because someone signs a bill? No, they're going to keep doing evil.
All intelligence from the United
States.
Apparently
not when they're building shit fucking how many miles underground. They're not stopping.
That was after Donald Trump pulled us out of the deal.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then he took out Soleimani. That's what caused the deal that they said, oh, no more deal. But I mean, you're obviously pretty stupid if you think that just because somebody says, oh, there's a deal, that they're not going to be doing some clandestine stuff.
Sir, we had our entire intelligence apparatus and the entire Israeli intelligence apparatus, two of the most prominent intelligence apparatus on the planet, that agreed with 50 other countries that said that Iran was not trying to make a nuclear weapon under the JCPOA. And now Donald Trump pulled us out of that deal anyway, just because he didn't like Obama. And there was no other reason, just, I don't like Obama, so I'm going to take us out of this deal. And then they start building all of this stuff. And then they're like, oh, see, Iran's trying to make a nuclear weapon. Yeah, they weren't until Donald Trump pulled us out of the JCPOA.
So you're saying that you trust intelligent apparatus, right?
To a certain point.
So you don't trust intelligent apparatus of that we completely destroyed them, but you trust it from administrative prior?
I'll agree with that intelligence apparatus statement analysis that says that we destroyed them as soon as I see proof of that. But so far, I've seen proof that our intelligence says that we did not destroy it, and that intelligence reports of 50 other nations, including the EU, says that we did not destroy it. And then Israel came out and said that we did not destroy it. And then Donald Trump said we destroyed it. And then other people are like, oh, I guess we did destroy it. So once I see an intelligence report that actually shows that it was destroyed, then I'm 100% okay with saying it was destroyed. Unfortunately, every intelligence report from across the world says that it wasn't destroyed right now, and that Donald Trump is just lying.
Yeah, that could very well be true. I don't believe what they tell us. Ever since COVID, I really don't believe anything that, people are saying to be, fact. I like to do my own evidence. I like to do, critical thinking to see, okay, are these my beliefs? Is this a reliable source? And that, because
how about this? Let's do some critical thinking here. Okay. Let's do some critical thinking. Our planes and our bombs, our planes and our bombs hit these nuclear sites. Every intelligence agency across the world says we didn't destroy them. Put damage to them? Yes. Destroyed them? No. Okay? Donald Trump, including ours, by the way. Then Donald Trump comes out and says, yes, we did. We obliterated them. And then a bunch of people working for Donald Trump were like, yep, he's right, with no evidence of it whatsoever. Now, does that sound logically like, coherent to you?
But what sounds logical to me is that they've been going. Okay, so when did this war actually start? How long ago? Tell me this, because you know everything, right?
When did war start in the Middle East? I don't know, 4,000 years ago?
No. What was 100 days ago, right? This 100-day war or whatever.
12
between Iran and Israel. Like
12.
when the proxy Hamas started bombing them, correct?
Hamas doesn't have bombs
or whatever. So what sounds logical to me is that even though it wasn't destroyed, right? Okay, a president says, okay, completely destroyed, yeah, because we know he says fucking crazy ass stuff. But why would they start agreeing to a ceasefire pretty much days after they hit that nuclear site? Regardless if it was destroyed, if it was damaged, there's minimal, there was any sort of, it's logical sense.
Because
that, okay,
they don't want that smoke?
Why would you just hit my point, because we have a strong fucking leader right
No,
there.
sir, because we have a strong military. I could put my Australian Shepherd.
You don't want that smoke, brother.
Sir, I could put my Australian Shepherd in the presidency, and our military is just as strong. They're not afraid of Donald Trump. They're afraid of our military. And any president, Democrat, Republican, does not matter. Independent, Green Party, Communist, does not matter, okay? If Iran attacked the United States, we were going to fucking war, and we would wipe Iran off the face of the planet, and Donald Trump did not need to be there in order to do that, okay? But anyways, it sounds like you need to go, enjoy the rest of your, I assume, White Claws, and I'll just, you have a wonderful Friday, okay?
All right, peace out, soy boy.
Bye. I'm assuming it's White Claws. I'm not sure. Ron, thank you so much for the Venmo. Said keep up the good. The $10 Venmo said thank you so much for keeping up the good work, Polly. I really appreciate you, Ron. Thank you so much. We're about to open up those phone lines really quick. I'm gonna go hit up these other super chats that just came in. I don't want to miss them. Brad the Pagan, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said I missed 2/3 of that previous call, and now I'm hearing this call for this guy straight up starting with trying to insult. Maybe you're the problem, Brad. Maybe every time you come back, that's when I get the crazy callers. Maybe this is you. I thought it was me. Maybe it's you. Thank you so much for the super chat, Brad. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Kooky newsflash: the whole world does abortions. Crazy. Never would have guessed. Miguel, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And Philip, thank you so much. You're the Aussie. I meant to say state, not stadium. Which state in America or Canada are you first streaming from? I am in Florida. United States, Florida. All right, I'm with you. Thank you so much again for the $5, $5 Australian super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. We're gonna leave Michael's up here for a second, but thank you so much, Philip. All right, we're gonna open up these phone lines, keep this thing going. If y'all can do me a favor, like I said, if you guys are on the TikTok side, let's get this thing up to 100,000 likes. I really appreciate that. If you guys are on the YouTube side, make sure you like and subscribe to the live. We do this every single day except for Thursday, so I'd love to have you guys here, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Hello, welcome to the live. How are you today?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How old are you?
I'm 23.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
It's
yes,
insane.
I do.
Awesome. Why is that?
I just, well, let me get straight here because I see what you do. You kind of put people in a trap. I'm just going to be honest. I've never really been into politics, but I'm also Democrat and Republican. I'm in the middle. But I just want to say, why does it seem like you just want to bash Trump in every single way, shape, or form and not give him any kind of credit whatsoever?
Credit for what?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. There's numerous things.
Like
and
what?
I'm not going to sit here because I can't. I'm not going to sit here and tell them to you because I can't. I'm not that fucking smart. But
sure, if you're telling me to give him credit for something, but you can't name a singular thing that I should give him credit for, then why would I give him credit?
Because there is things.
Like what?
If you're as smart as you say you are, bro, just hear me out. You would know that he has done things that are good, and yes, he has done things that are bad. Everybody does.
Again, sir, if he's done things that are good, I would love to hear them. Are you looking you looking for me to give you something that he's done good? Is that what you're fishing for here?
Yes, that's what I'm asking. Yes.
Sure, awesome. Operation Warp Speed.
Okay, keep going. There's more.
Sir, you couldn't name one. I've already done better than you, and you support him.
No, I know. I watch what you do. I know that. You're a good debater, but I'm just asking you, why do you seem to hate him so much?
Sir, because he's bad for America and he's bad for people. He teaches and preaches hate.
Can you answer me? Can you answer me? How's that? How is he bad for America?
Dude, his literal entire platform is literally
Kamala Harris ever do? What did Joe Biden ever do? Obama was.
Do you want me to answer the last question, or do you want to just keep asking me questions?
Okay, what is it?
Okay. Donald Trump preaches hate. He friggin' demonizes people such as immigrants, treats them as less than human. He demonizes people like transgender people and makes them less than human. But even if you stay off of the... Sir, if you're going to ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. If you don't want the answer, then don't ask the question or leave.
Okay.
This is the last time I'm telling you.
All right.
Awesome. Okay. So he says that immigrants are things like the vermin that poison the blood of the United States. Completely dehumanizing language. Okay, just horrible things to say. But even if you take all of that out and you just take off the stuff that he's like, the policies that he does that dehumanize immigrants, that dehumanize people like trans people who freaking, demonize all sorts of, rips freaking children away from their parents and other such things, right? If you take away that and just go on something that's just what everyday Americans care about, which is like economics.
Can I say something?
Okay, no. If you go on just things like economics, he literally preaches trickle-down economics, which literally destroys the middle class. It takes money away from you. It hurts our economy. He gives money out of your pocket and my pocket to millionaires and billionaires. Okay? I don't like that. Why would I want that?
But listen, okay? DSS takes kids every day for parents that's doing what they're supposed to, and nobody ever says nothing about DSS taking or stripping kids from their family. What would you do if I broke into your house? Would you want me in jail?
Yes, sir. If you broke into my house, you won't make it to jail.
Okay, then that's what those illegals are doing.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Sir, if you break into my house, what level of crime is that? What crime is that?
Okay, well then, what do you mean?
Sir, if you break into...
This is our country. Me and you are brothers in
if you
blood,
break
bro.
into my house, what crime is that?
It's trespassing.
If you break into my house, no, that's breaking and entering.
Breaking and entering, yes.
Yeah, that's a felony.
Okay.
Yeah, do you know what illegal entry is?
So why isn't it the same for an illegal alien to come through our country?
Because this isn't your house, sir. The United States property is not your house. It is not your private property.
I'm not saying that, but it's our country.
And nobody is
yes,
breaking in, okay?
It was based on immigrants, yes. Okay, but no country can withstand millions of people coming in.
Then we should have allowed the Biden administration to pass border protections that would have limited it.
Have you seen where Hillary Clinton or Obama has, talked about the same things that Trump has spoken of and done?
I'm sorry, where did Obama or Hillary Clinton say that they were freaking that immigrants were poisoning the blood of America?
He was going to do the same thing that Trump was doing.
I'm sorry, they were going to deport people that were here legally? They were going to freaking shut down asylum seeking in the United States? Where'd they say that?
That's what tells me. That's what tells me you're a one-sided loser that just wants to talk.
Sir, where did they say they were going to do that?
You are nothing.
Where did they say they were going to do that?
Okay, look it up.
I have looked it up. That's why I'm asking you to tell me.
Okay, yeah, you've looked it up. That's why you've never seen it.
I haven't seen it because it doesn't exist, sir. Sir, I haven't seen it because sir, nobody cares about your conclusion.
You're a waste of air to America.
Nobody cares about your conclusion. Okay,
I don't
sir.
care either. You're a fucking crybaby bitch.
All right. Well, sir, you enjoy your.
Yes, sir, yeah. Yeah.
I'm assuming Bush Light.
Joe Biden cup of coffee. Yeah.
I'm assuming you're Bush Light, right?
Yeah. I don't even drink.
You should start then, because this is sad.
Yeah, like you.
Good one.
Yeah, good one.
All right, bye. Okay, bye. Like, dude, if that's you sober, then start, bro. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's you sober? Sorry. Where'd I leave off on the super chats? I don't want to miss any. Miss you. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Said shout out to Denise. I do what I want. I'm grown. Thank you for an amazing show and your integrity and consistency. Thank you so much, Mishu, for the $4.99 super chat. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And Brad the Pagan, you're the bringer of chaos. See, you came back, and that's why I had to talk to that guy. That's why. This is your fault. And the Gypsy Times, thank you so much for the €9.99 super chat. I recognize that sign. That's Euro. Yeah, that's the Euro one. Can you let this caller know that he's been brainwashed by an Australian man named Rupert Murdoch, and he's a traitor for America, and he's a traitor for America, and he's a traitor for America. He had to say it twice. The Gypsy Times had to say it twice. He couldn't let it just go once. He had to do it twice to make sure. I'm gonna bring that one back up. Thank you so much for the €9.99 super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And Corey said phone privileges need to be banned for that guy. Agreed. We'll take somebody needs to get Grandpa out of the liquor cabinet. That dude said he was 23. How's that dude 23? He sounded like he was 67 years old. All right, we're gonna put the Gypsy Times back up there. Leave that up there for a second while we keep this thing moving. I really appreciate y'all. Again, y'all, if you guys are on the TikTok side, let's get this thing up to 100,000 likes. I really appreciate you guys. And let's see if we can clear off one of these goals today. I really appreciate you guys. That'd be really awesome. If you guys are on the YouTube side, again, as you can see, the super chats go up. We talk about them. So if you like support, that's a great way to do it. And we're going to keep this thing moving and having a good time. If you guys are on the YouTube side, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We do this every day but Thursday, so I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. 67? 67? Hello?
Oh, hello.
Hi, how are you today?
Doing pretty well. Is this for the Politics 1.0?
You are streaming. You are live right now. How are you doing today? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Awesome. How old are you?
I'm 31.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yep.
Awesome. Why is that?
Oh, I just realized that I was still on my headphones, and that is making things trouble for me. By the way, those were pounds, not euros.
You're right. Damn it. You got me. You got me. I was wrong. I knew I recognized the symbol, but I was wrong because the pound went. Yeah, I got you. You got me.
So, as far as the why is that though? I mean, I'm not quite familiar with what Biden's proposal was for the border, but having sealed it off now is definitely a good thing.
Why?
For starters. Well, because people crossing in over the southern border, it has to be done generally by way of illegal cartels, and that process is very dangerous, largely because of crossing in improvised vehicles or it's not good.
And how is he stopping that?
How was he stopping that?
No, how is he stopping that now? What has he done to stop that?
Well, the increase in funding toward ICE and
there has been no increase in funding from ICE. For ICE. It's proposed in his new bill, but it's not there yet.
Okay, jumping the gun then, I guess. But there has been quite a lot of activity towards deporting a lot of people who are in transit, and that does have a chilling effect, I think.
Actually, sir, the numbers for deportations in transit are significantly down under the Trump administration from the Biden administration. Like, significantly down.
So then, why would it make sense if that is the case? Why would it make sense that they're trying maritime entries to a greater degree now?
They aren't trying maritime entries at a greater degree now. And also, I literally just had a coastie up here who that's his entire job, and they said maritime entries are pretty much stopped. That was on Wednesday. Yeah. Which I'm not saying he's any type of credible source, but I'm just saying that's what he said.
Well, that definitely runs contrary to most of the coverage that I've seen. Would that perhaps be the spotlight effect, do you think?
That's just, you're probably watching Fox News. But you are breaking up. Can you get any better reception? Because your words are kind of jumping in and out, and it is kind of annoying. I'm catching what you're saying, but it is pretty bad.
there's not really that much I can do about that, and I was hoping it would be better.
Right now you seem good, but if it starts breaking up again, I might have to move on to the next caller. But
that's totally
understandable. But you're fine. You're fine right this moment.
Okay. I do also appreciate the amount of effort, although imperfect, that was put in towards that March for Flag Day. That was something that I actually really enjoyed seeing the spirit of, and I think that the embracing of American spirit is something that's very good, and I don't think Trump has failed us in that way at all.
Embracing of American spirit. Donald Trump doesn't embrace the American spirit.
In
which way
terms of,
does he
like,
embrace the American
displays.
spirit? Huh?
That 250th anniversary of the Army parade was very nice and patriotic, in my opinion.
Was planned before Trump got in office.
That's fair enough, but
yeah, they knew the 250th anniversary of the Army was coming up. That wouldn't have changed regardless of whether Trump was in office or not. You know, a guy died prepping for that, though, right?
I'm sorry, what?
Someone died trying to get that thing going. It's kind of sad.
That's unfortunate. I mean, what happened?
I don't know exactly. I don't know. They haven't released all the details. It was an Army Reserve guy, I think.
I see. Yeah, I mean, bad things happen in strange ways. I really hope it wasn't something that could have been prevented.
Sir, respecting our troops is always a good thing, but we respect our troops by taking care of them, right? We take care of our troops. We take care of our veterans, not by having a North Korea style freaking, dictator parade. That doesn't do anything for our troops. That just promotes the leader like it does in, North Korea or any other dictatorship, right? When I talk about our troops, what I want for our troops is that they get paid more, right? That when they get out of the military, that they're taken care of, that their health care is taken care of, that their benefits are higher. And those are the things that Democrats do better, right? Like there was a giant pay raise under the Biden administration for lower enlisted people. There was, higher pay raises across the board for people in the military under Biden. The PACT Act was passed under Biden that, help get better medical care for our veterans when it comes to like things like Agent Orange or burn pits in the Middle East and help get them better coverage when they got out. Those are all things that I find that is actually supporting our troops, supporting our vets, getting them the things that we actually need. Parade for 10,000 people that 10,000 people showed up to that had corporate sponsors and squeaky tanks doesn't support our troops. It actually just costs the American taxpayer tens of millions of dollars for no reason.
I mean, in the short term, yes, it absolutely does cost the American people quite a lot of money, but I do think that it's an important display, and also it's probably good for boosting those recruitment numbers, which ends up reducing the amount of advertisement that we have to do towards the armed forces. It might end up equaling out.
Sir, if I was a recruit and I saw that parade, I would be like, I'm not joining at all.
That's one stance, but I think the numbers will speak for themselves regardless of what we think about it.
Sure, I guess that's a number we haven't seen, so that's clear, projection. But
yeah, of course.
But I'm saying if I saw that squeaky ass tank rolling down, I'm like, this is what American troops are about. Fucking weird hats and squeaky tanks. I
yeah. I mean, there's no way that I can make an aesthetics argument that's in any way salient. But going back to the whole Hamas, Iran, Israel triangular thing, I do think that in a large way the conflict between Israel and Iran started on October 7th because Iran was very much blamed by Israel for it, whether rightly or not. And they definitely did have links in terms of funding. And so it's kind of like playing checkers or chess, whichever you might think. Probably more of chess, where Iran is like the king piece, and you have Hezbollah, Hamas, and other smaller groups.
Let me ask you a
from
question.
the
When did
perspective of
Netanyahu
Israel.
first say that Iran had a nuclear weapon that we needed to go take out?
Probably pretty recently.
1992.
Ah.
Yeah, he's been saying that we need to take out this nuclear weapon that is detrimental and is going to be made like within the next 2 weeks since 1992. I was 6.
Well,
okay. I'm almost fucking 40 now, right? And for all of that time, he's been saying Iran is this close from getting a nuclear weapon. They're this close. They're this close. It's right there. We're about to have one. It's about to have one. It's about to have one. And then every single year since then, he's been trying to get American presidents to go bomb American nuclear sites. Okay. But every other American president went, oh yeah, all of our intelligence shows that they don't have one right now. So we don't need to bomb them. Let's take diplomatic things, right? Let's do diplomatic, ways of stopping them instead of military.
Right.
And that has stopped them from having them. Yeah. No, go ahead.
The diplomatic things like an agreement whereby we give them a whole lot of money not to build them, and then they channel that money into the smaller terrorist groups, right?
Well, we never gave them money. I don't know where you're getting that from.
Wasn't that part of the, what was it, JCPOA? Was the
release of sanctions, allowing them to trade more. But I mean, that hasn't changed right now. Donald Trump just said he's excited that Iran is going to start selling more oil to China.
Yeah, he did definitely release all the sanctions with all the confidence that the mountain was destroyed, obliterated to rubble, or something. But
but now we're literally giving them money, though. Like, that's what you're saying. Like, we're literally now giving them money. Like, I mean, in the same way, like,
yeah.
Like, here,
but
see,
we also
go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
We also defanged Hamas. Not Hamas. We defanged the Houthis, and I believe that Israel has taken down some significant numbers of leadership in Iran, and I believe Hezbollah. So
I'm not arguing that their leadership chain is hurt. That, but what's your point with that?
It's entirely possible that the determination by our intelligence makes that a different calculation. That's way above my pay grade, though, and honestly, I don't feel like there is a good side or a bad side in a total sense in that whole conflict.
It's not a matter whether there's a good side or a bad side, right? Because nobody's arguing whether Iran should have a nuclear weapon.
No, of course.
Nobody's arguing that. Everybody agrees. Left, right, center, doesn't matter. Everybody's like, no nuclear weapon for Iran. Easy stuff, right?
Yeah, the fewer countries have nuclear weapons, the better.
Completely
France,
agree.
in my opinion.
Completely agree. Couldn't argue that at all, right? It's how do we get there, right? We had the JCPOA. Mm-hmm. Our intelligence showed that was stopping them from having a nuclear weapon, right? We now had intelligence that we did not destroy their centrifuges. So we don't have let's just say we did destroy them, right? Let's just say we did destroy them. What does that set them back a few years? 3 years, 5 years, something like that? And then we're in the same position we're in right now. Right?
It really does depend. I don't know. Like, if we set them back a few years, maybe that's just enough time for them to get rusty or for things to negatively impact them in some less predictable way. Of course, that's grasping at straws, but it could happen.
But what I'm saying is I want long-term solution, and long-term solutions are diplomatic solutions. That's what creates those things, right? Things like the JCPOA, if it was still intact, that would have helped that. But not only did we not destroy them, right? We did not obliterate the Iranian nuclear sites. They're still very bigly. Not only did we not destroy them completely, but now they have 400 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium, supposedly, right? That we don't know where it is. And now they also know that if we say we're going to make an agreement with them, that we can't be trusted. So now they're not going to want to make an agreement. They have centrifuges most likely, right, according to intelligence reports, and they almost definitely have enriched uranium that has the ability to get turned into 90% for nuclear weapons, right? So we're further back than when we started. That's the issue.
Possibly. But what is the confidence on this report that their centrifuges still exist? Is that like a high confidence report?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know the entire extent of the damage. Like we don't have 100% confidence in anything. But the intelligence from Israel, the initial intelligence from the United States, and the intelligence from 50 different countries all say that while they were damaged, it set them back less than 6 months. Right? So that's not an obliteration.
It would take to
What's that?
Open up the entrances? The 6 months that it would take to open the entrances, or beyond that?
6 months it would take for them to be like fully operational again to where they were at. That's how long it would take to repair the facilities.
I see. But no, that was the nature of the question. Like, what would it take to restore the facility? Like, would it just be the entrances, do you think? Or, I mean, there's no way that you could know. It's speculation.
It's all speculation. But what I'm saying is that regardless, we're not in a place right now where it's like, oh, if the best case scenario is we set them back 3 to 5 years and we end up right in the same position. That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario, or the more likely scenario, is that we set them back 3 or 4, or we'll say the worst case scenario is we set them back 3 or 4 months, and now they don't trust the United States to actually make a deal with. And the reality is most likely somewhere in between, I would guess.
I don't think that they were operating based on trust in the U.S. I think that if they were trusting in the U.S., it was more in the Lao Tzu sense, trusting us to make poor decisions. They've been saying for about 50 years that they want us to die. So I don't think they're going to be operating in good faith regardless.
Yeah, but they were operating in good faith under the JCPOA, and we have proof of that.
It's entirely possible that they were still on the early stages at that point, and so transparency was something that could be managed with say civilian grade uranium for energy and things like that. But then, once they started wanting to get into weapons grade, they went undercover, and maybe that was just in time for us to put them back on sanctions.
But that was after the JCPOA was removed. That's what I'm saying. They didn't start going towards weapons grade until Trump pulled us out of it. So we had the trust, we had the diplomatic solution, right? And even Donald Trump's diplomatic solution that he was talking about is very similar to what the JCPOA is. So
yeah, it is.
So why didn't we just not leave it to begin with?
I guess there was probably something to do with
you're breaking up again.
Trump. Oh man. Can you hear me now?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. It was probably something to do with something that offended Trump, or some sort of deal that he made with Israel, realistically. But I don't have much evidence that there was a causative effect of leaving the JCPOA and them other than the timing.
Well, see, sir, here's the thing, though. Like, when we talk about cause and effect of things like this, they don't happen instantly. They happen over time, right? They might take 5-10 years to get to the full understanding of what that decision made, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're in that right now.
That could be, but
like this is the cause and effect of leaving the JCPOA all those years ago, right? And now we're going to wait 5-10 more years, and we're going to see the full effects of what this did. And it might end up being, maybe he got away with it, maybe is. But I think the more likely case is that they're going to either going to decide that they have to have a nuclear weapon like North Korea, right? And in order to protect themselves, right? Or they're just going to go into some type of hiding thing even more and find better ways to fortify their position. And I think that either is possible. They're either going to get a nuclear weapon, or they're going to, or something. There's not much that it could be. I'm not saying that I know, I have a fortune teller, or that anything like that. But we've shown that we can't be trusted on negotiations. We've shown that we're willing to use military attacks to stop them. I don't see what benefit they have to just being cool with us and moving things forward. I don't see why it would. I don't see why they would do that.
That's one direction, but it also shows that we are willing to strike out if we're not satisfied with their level of compliance. And so it depends on their nature, whether they're, driven more by fear in the cowering way or more in the bulking up way. But to take the principle
it ain't the first one, I'll tell you that much right now. It ain't the cowering way, I'll tell you that much right now.
To go back into the delayed cause and effect that you spoke about, it's entirely possible that, for instance, Trump might have found some sort of communications saying that they were planning on establishing a Fordo. And in response to that, he went into, cutting from the JCPOA because they were planning on it rather than, he cuts the JCPOA and then they start planning Fordo.
Yeah, we have the intelligence reports from that time. We know what he was told, and it was told that Iran is completely compliant with the JCPOA, and we have no reason to pull out. We know that. We're again far enough down the road where we know exactly what those intelligence reports said. So we don't need to. We don't need to guess. We know that the only reason he pulled it out, it was simply just because Obama did it. That was all it was. But hey, I'm going to move out this conversation because I don't think we're actually talking about anything anymore. So I'm going to go to the next person. Yep. All right, man. Have a good one. All right.
Peace.
Bye. Yeah, I think we're kind of past where we're talking about anything anymore. Diver said Bill Clinton and Chuck Schumer both gave speeches on illegal immigrations and the negative effects of illegal immigration to our country, no different than Trump. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. There are negative effects of undocumented immigrants. Cool. All right. Dude, maybe it's just this, like, are you guys gotta turn off Fox News every once in a while. Okay? You guys gotta turn off Fox News every once in a while. The left isn't saying, no one on the left is like, hey, all the undocumented immigrants, they're good, let's move them all here. It's, let's do it intelligently. If people are here and they're working and they're freaking doing and contributing to our economy and they've established here and everything like that, then let's just not rip them away from their children and family and send them to the country, out of the country. It's ridiculous. Let's not send people to foreign prisons. Let's not send people to countries that they're not from. Let's not deport American citizens. These are the things that the left is saying. It's not don't leave all the migrants here. That's not what the left is saying. This is what Fox News tells you the left is saying. It's not. No one on the left is saying that. Okay? So it's okay. Again, Obama was like the deporter in chief. Both Obama and Biden deported more people than Donald Trump did. It's how you're doing it. It's not what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. Okay? That's all it is. But thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate that, Diver. And Marco, thank you so much for the super chat. It says, in my city, Huntington Park, ICE used an explosive to enter the home of U.S. citizens as retaliation for a small car accident where ICE hit them. It's scary where this country is going. If you agree with these masked fucking agents walking around and ripping people out and throwing them in their fucking cars, you are fucking crazy. Truly. That is an insane thought that these masked agents are just going around tossing people in the back of vans like this is frickin' Berlin in the 1940s or something. Craziness, dude. Dude, if you have to wear a mask to do your to do your policing duty, then I don't think you're a very good police officer. Think you're on the wrong side of history. Show your fucking face if you got a job to do. Show your face. And if you're right, then no one's going to bother you. Show your face. I don't think it's that difficult. Yeah, your face and your credentials. Hell yeah, Tara. 100%. But thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that, Marco. That really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. All right, we're going to get to another caller. How long have I been on? I'm just closing on 2.5 hours. I think I can take another caller or two. As long as everybody's in. If you guys could be fair, again, if you're on the YouTube side, please hit that like and subscribe button. We do this every day but Thursday. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. If you guys are on the TikTok side, if you guys want to support, subscribing is also a great way. I'd love to get back up to 50. And they're only like $3 or something. They're like nothing. So if you guys like to sub, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you?
I'm great.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Awesome. How old are you?
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
No, how old are you?
I am 23.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Why is that?
I'm a little bit on the fence. I'm a little bit on the fence now. Fucking goddamn. But quickly before I ask you, what's your opinion on communism?
What's my opinion on it? Like, I mean, as far as what goes?
Well, I am a World War II history buff, and in the past, I've been called out by the radical left. They went after my career. I used to teach World War II history, and it was some left group, I don't even remember. I was called out for it, and it was because I was speaking on bad terms of the Soviet Union, and that was during Biden's administration, and I was scrubbed out. But when Trump came around, I was able to get my job back.
Hold on. Stand by. Are you telling me that the radical left, which I'm still trying to figure out exactly what the hell the radical left is, snubbed you out because you were not supporting the Soviet Union? Because that doesn't sound right.
I know. It really sounds bad. I really
sounds
don't know how to phrase
not
anymore.
true.
I know. I'm bad phrasing. Okay. This is the first time I'm doing it, and I just gave up on that until recently, since I got my job back about it. I'm sorry. I had my train of thought, but then I was rewatching that drunk guy you had earlier, and that guy needs to have his phone taken away. That was painful to watch.
Yeah, it was. All right, man. Have a good one. I don't know what I don't know what we're even talking about there. So we're gonna keep moving on. Keep moving on. Hello?
Hey.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. How old are you?
25.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Awesome. Why is that?
Basically just like economy and just a lot of things he's doing with immigration. Just main reasons I think everyone voted for Trump. A lot of people did.
So what has Donald Trump done for the economy?
For the economy? I don't know. Inflation was lower under Trump than it was under Biden.
Yeah, but what did Donald Trump do for that?
What? How is he not affecting the economy if the inflation's low?
I'm asking you how he affected it.
Policy.
Which policy?
You tell me how Biden's 9% was better than Trump's 1.2 to 2.4. And
sure, Joe Biden's 9% was caused by COVID, and it was a worldwide inflation rate where the worldwide inflation rate went above 10%, and that happened due to the reduction of shipping lanes and the the freaking shortage of durables in the entire world. Factories were shut down, people weren't working, and so therefore it caused inflation. Donald Trump's low inflation rate was caused by Obama.
By Obama, sure. Because
Sir, you don't get to argue the point when you couldn't even make a point.
Lagging, right?
You couldn't even make a point, so you don't get to argue mine. Okay?
Okay. So you don't listen to anything anyone says?
No, sir. I asked you multiple times what Donald Trump did to actually affect the low inflation rate. I asked you
I
multiple
actually
times,
just told you
and
his
you couldn't
inflation
give me
rate
a
was
single
lower, so you're
answer.
wrong.
You had to wait until I answered, and now your entire stance is
His
nuh-uh. And
inflation
so
rate
when
was
you do
lower.
that,
You're
it
wrong.
makes you sound like really ridiculous. Okay.
So, okay, so you said earlier on that the Democratic Party was better for wages. Well, real wage growth, there was about a 7.7 wage growth percent increase under Trump compared to Biden's decline in wages of about 2.4%.
Awesome. What did Trump do?
Answer the question.
That wasn't a question. You said that there
It
was a
was.
wage growth
You
under
said
Trump, and then you
something
said there
wrong,
was a,
so
then you,
defend
sir,
yourself. You
you
were
said,
wrong.
you said
You
there
were
was,
wrong.
okay, sir, do you have a
You were
wonderful
wrong.
day? Okay.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
All right, cool. You think I'm gonna sit there and do it? All right, have fun, bro. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I do.
Awesome. How old are you?
31.
Awesome. Why do you support Trump?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that he does that I don't really agree with, but he is our president, and he's not a gay faggot nigger like you.
It's insane.
Well, he wasn't running against me. Oh, where'd you go? I was talking to you. Say he wasn't running against me. Hello?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you today?
Oh, pretty good. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How old are you?
24, born November of 2000.
All right, awesome. Do you support Trump?
Well, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say yes. I want to answer the question that you actually have posted on the live stream. Right? So we're just coming out of the election, and what are we, like 6 months in since the inauguration, just about. I think a lot of people voted almost with a romantic appeal. It's like how people romanticize Soviet Russia or Mao China, right? Where there were things that made a tangible effect on Republicans or Democrats or really just citizens. So one thing that I perceived as a benefit to the citizens in the United States was the Tax and Job Act of 2017. So across all income brackets, you saw an average drop of about 3% for everybody. It was a little bit lower the further up you got, but not measurably significantly. And so I think a lot of people looked at instances like that and assumed that that's what they were going to be signing up for by getting a second term out of Trump. I had a couple of other notes that I wanted to pull up.
Well, let's address
Do you
those
have any
notes first.
thoughts?
Let's address that part first. All right. So the average amount of money that a person in the middle class saved due to the TCJA was about $600. The average amount of money for someone in the top 1% was about $62,000. Okay. So the higher that you got up, the more you benefited from Donald Trump's tax cuts. Okay. And that's not even to add in the corporate tax rate, which was dropped by 13% under the Trump administration. Right. So that did a lot of things. But the biggest thing that it did is it helped to add to the national debt, which is why Donald Trump had the most national debt and the highest deficit of any president. Right. And so when we see that, and then we see inflation happen, we see that, the printing of money and high government spending is one of the big reasons why we see inflation, right? And so when you're talking about like getting what you paid for, you saw a stall in the economy. You saw the destruction of the middle, you saw a lowering of the middle class, and that happened over the full time of it, right? The only difference is that you see Biden, and what happened was you had COVID, which drastically affected the economy under Biden, and then you were still
everything up, yeah.
Yeah, and then you were also in the middle of Donald Trump's tax cuts, because what happened was Donald's tax cuts for the lower classes had expiration dates on them, where the tax cuts for the rich people had permanent dates on them, right? So you started to see that fade off during the Biden administration. So when Donald Trump came in this time, you're getting exactly what you got from him the first time. You're seeing another reduction in the corporate tax rate while keeping the freaking scraps off the table for the middle class. Right. And now this time what you're seeing is a massive overhaul of social safety nets. Right. So you're seeing $880 billion ripped from Medicaid. You're seeing billions of dollars ripped from SNAP benefits. Right. You're actually ripping people, ripping the lowest, people in our economy. You're ripping their social safety nets away, ripping healthcare away from, probably millions of people, if not hundreds of thousands of people, probably millions of people, right? And you're ripping that money away, and then you're giving it to people like Jeff Bezos, right? So you're getting exactly what you got from Donald Trump the first time. You're just getting more of it.
Okay. I just wonder if perception is sort of an issue here, and if I could have just a second to flesh this out. You're being absolutely cordial right now, and I apologize for half of the people you see just devolving into stuff. So I was doing a little bit of research on this and how the federal tax budget gets, accrued across all different wage earners. So correct me if I'm wrong, but if I recall correctly, if you make $55,000 per year, right, you fall into the bottom half of income earners in the United States. Of that half of the income earners, they contribute approximately 3% to the federal budget. So I'm curious, when you hear these policies or these proposals from left-leaning individuals, and again, it might be presentation that's getting me, it might be something else, but when you see these proposals where they're saying, screw the rich, tax the rich, take it, they need to pay more, it's, can we address the fact that the bottom half of Americans only make up 3% of total federal tax revenue?
Yeah, so
is that a fair point to at least shed light on?
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point to shed light on. First of all, messaging is horrible, but absolutely. But when you actually take that like median, like half that, so I believe that your number on where the half breaks down is wrong, but your point doesn't change regardless of that, right? So I'm not going to argue it with you because your point is still valid. The problem is that what percentage of the American income are they making for that 3%, right? They're making the lowest amounts, and so they're paying the lowest amount, but the percentage per that dollar is higher than when you talk about the percentage towards the dollars for the higher income earners, right? So I maybe I said that wrong too, and I don't know if you caught what I was saying there, but
I think I understand the sentiment, but I guess my confusion in that would lie in,
Let me put it this way, and this is more for the chat, so I can so that they can understand what I'm trying to say here, because I don't feel like I said that well. Okay, if you make $20,000 a year, okay, and you pay $1,000, right, a year in taxes, and I know that's higher than probably most people in that tax bracket make, right, but that's 20% of your income, or sorry, 5% of your income, right?
Sure.
Right. If you make $1 billion and you're paying $1 million, right? That's 1% of your income, right? And so what I'm saying is that it should be across, like at minimum, it should be across the board. The percentage of your income should be standard all the way across the board at minimum, right? It's not a matter of the dollar amount. It's the dollar amount compared to what you're making.
Can we define income? Just for the sake of argument.
I wish the American tax system would define income.
No, it would be wonderful. I absolutely agree with that.
Because I think that's a valid point. I think that you have a valid point. Can we define income? That is a correct. That is one of the problems. Right.
No,
So yeah, that's one of the problems. Right. Like, is that as you're as the more money you're making, right, you can hire better tax people, better lawyers, all that sort of stuff, so you can hide that income and make it not look like income, right? You have those tax loopholes that get spread across like your money, and so they go into shares, they go into real estate, they go into all sorts of things, and so that income is hidden. Therefore, they don't have to pay taxes on that, and I actually have a big problem with that also.
Okay, perfect. The perfect segue. Okay, so yes, I agree, but I'm confused kind of how the approach applies for both Democrats and Republicans, right? So the problem with definition of income is a thorn in the side for both parties, right? Because Republicans who have a lot of their assets set in illiquid funds, such as the stock market, such as ETFs, stuff like that, where it's an unrealized gain, therefore it cannot be taxed, are scared that they're going to be losing value should that be considered income. The left, as far as I understand, and again, I might be incorrect, but as far as I understand, the left perceives unrealized gains as an increase in net worth, which is correct, technically speaking, but it's not a liquid asset. It's not something that people can pull out without being taxed and put into the market. Now, you can trade shares or trade stock of company in exchange for something else. That's what you see a lot of billionaires do, especially when they're trying to get things like business loans or whatever. It's like, hey, for collateral, I'm going to give you X amount of shares of whatever, Apple, Facebook, Google, and that's the collateral for the loan. The value of that determines the value of the loan or the security of the loan. And so you can still get into situations where people with a lot of money. I'm starting to get off track, but you can.
You sound on track. You asked me a question, then already answered the question, and now you're moving forward. I'm down with it. Just continue going. You're not saying saying anything in
public speaking in a long time.
No, you're not saying anything incorrect. So just continue on. You're fine.
So yeah, my biggest concern is I believe it was a proposal from the Harris-Walz campaign as to whether or not unrealized gains should be taxed. They proposed that they should. My concern with that, as a conservative and as somebody who makes roughly $70,000 a year, I don't know if that's relevant, but as somebody who's actively trying to manage and build wealth, I don't want that to happen, or at least to see some type of separation for unrealized gains, because that would directly affect my stock portfolio, my 401k, my bonds, my sureties, all of these things. Whatever type of system they would put into place without proper safeguards, which regardless of side seems to be the trend, is you seem moderate enough to talk to, and I appreciate that. But the people who each side bears witness to, so right-leaning individuals see the worst of the left-leaning individuals see the worst of the right. And these people push so aggressively for legislation that they fail to recognize a lot of things like these little nuances, where it's like, yeah, you might be able to make a lot of money off of rich people. Do I think there's a disgusting amount of wealth that can be achieved? Absolutely. But we can't have umbrella legislation that's going to negatively impact your regular earners, the 99% of the country that's working a 9 to 5 or more.
I do want to be very specific when we're talking about the Harris-Walz policy, like that they had proposed in the campaign, and that tax on unrealized gains didn't start till you had a net income of like $100 million a year.
Okay, so this falls back to what I was saying about perception, where there's all sorts of perceived information that I on both sides is an issue.
But let's just say, like, the entire point of that is again, like, we like, it's an understanding, you know what I'm saying, that if you're making $70,000 a year, which is, I believe, off my last check, the median household income was sitting right around $67,000 a year, right? So you're almost dead on what we would consider middle class in the United States, right?
Sure.
Nobody is trying to tax your unrealized gains. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't help anyone, right? It's the people, again, because again, at $70,000, you probably aren't hiring like $1 million a year, millions of dollars a year, full of, tax lawyers and everybody else to make sure you can hide that money. You're probably, on a general standpoint, paying the amount of money that you're supposed to be paying. It's the people that literally, like you said, make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars a year, and are paying less than you are. That's the issue. It's closing those tax loopholes, like unrealized gains, for the richest people. And I think that's where the stance from the left is sitting for the majority of people on the left.
And that very well might be a misconception that is being propagated by the right. So in an effort to make this a little bit interesting, I'm sort of running out of room to talk in that regard. I want to know what your ideas are, and this is going to go in a completely different direction. I will do my best to keep it amicable. How do you feel about people claiming Trump is a fascist?
I mean, he does fit the tenets.
Okay. I appreciate that choice of word first. So I want to explore that a little bit. So what's one tenet that you would like to exemplify?
That I believe he exemplifies ultranationalism.
Okay. So give me 1 second to pull this up. I was actually discussing this with somebody on Reddit of all places. It was it was a rough conversation, to say the least. Ultranationalism, I agree. Can we also agree that there is a difference between GOP and MAGA?
I can. Though those lines have gotten
perfect.
Well, I would have agreed with that more on the first term. I think those lines are starting to blur a bit.
I think the problem is people use language loosely. That was one of the biggest issues with the conversation that I had with this individual online. Was they claimed that they were a linguist and then shamed me for using semantics and literal definitions while trying to establish common vocabulary in order to produce a proactive conversation.
Sir, you just used 8 words that 99% of the people I talk to on this app don't even know what they mean. Okay, I'm with you. I understand, but you just used 8 words that like 90% of the people I talk to don't even couldn't even spell half those words. Okay, so just saying, like when you get used to talking to people like I do, like it does get a little difficult when you're like, are you being serious? Like, I'm not even sure. Like, do you even know all those words that you're just saying? Like, just so I totally understand what you were saying there. I'm just saying, like, when you do this all the time, it does become a little bit like it throws you off a bit. But continue.
So one thing that I had, the notes that I had on ultranationalism, I want to break that down a little bit. Devolve the definition enough to understand what the effect of ultranationalism is. Essentially, it's tribalism. Like on a fundamental level, it's my tribe against yours. You're with me or against me. We don't live in a society, I don't think, where you can make things black and white. I think that's one area where political strife gets spawned from, and I don't think it's fair. So I will yield the point that there are neocons, is that the appropriate term? Like alt-righters or like radical rights who are ultranationalists. They are racist, they are supremacists, but I think it's disingenuous to conflate all Republicans with that, and I just want to make that point. So again, I will yield that those people exist on the right, but I would also like to bring light to instances where Biden, for example, I think it was 2020, he was on the Breakfast Club radio show, and he said, if you have a problem figuring out if you're for me or Trump, then you are not black, right? And so there was that type of group mentality where it was trying to force people into the red or the blue, where it's like, if you have that much of a problem, then you're just the enemy, right? And I don't think that's proactive.
Well, I think both sides have had an issue with doing that. I think Kamala Harris actually did probably one of the best jobs of not doing that, right? But I think that like we're kind of digressing from the idea of, first of all, is MAGA and the GOP the same, and second of all, does Trump represent fascism, right? So like I don't know where we got to on that.
There are tenets of fascism either way. So one, like propaganda, information control, yada yada. How do you feel, for example, about the Biden or the Hunter Biden laptop? Because there have been a lot of reports, at least to my knowledge, where people say if I would have had access to this information, it may have, I'm not saying it will or won't, because I really don't know, I'm not those people.
What information?
But it may have swayed just what the case around the Hunter Biden laptop.
What
so we
case?
had the Twitter files, the censoring, well, just its existence, right? Like, we can both agree that the Hunter Biden laptop and the information on it existed, right?
What information? Oh, I'm sorry. I think we'd have to agree on what information you're talking. Like, did Hunter Biden have a laptop? Yes, I can agree with you that he had a laptop. Was there anything on there that was incriminating to Joe Biden? No, I can't agree with that whatsoever.
Okay, then that's fine. I won't get into the weeds on that. But it is known, at least as far as I'm aware, that the left during that time was enforcing language control or information control by blacklisting people on places like Twitter or Facebook or whatever, by saying, if they're doing this, you need to make it so they aren't viewable on the algorithm. Like, these people need to not be as apparent on the platform. They were trying to censor speech. At least this is what I'm led to believe.
That's not what the social media censoring of speech was about.
Okay.
The censoring of speech from the left came about COVID.
Right, with misinformation about what medications and
yeah. So the Biden administration attempted to stop the spread of misinformation when it came to COVID on social media accounts. Had nothing to do with Hunter Biden's laptop.
Okay. Man, so this is an interesting line too, is how far does misinformation go? because there have been reports from the CDC and WHO that at first, when we were in the height of the vaccine, it was like if you got the RNA vaccination, it was 100% efficable. You weren't going to get COVID, and as the months passed by, that percentage just dropped and dropped and dropped. Now, as that virus mutates, sure, you're going to get different strains, but there were only like 4 or 5 major identifiable strains, and the information that we had about the efficacy of these shots constantly went down. Like by
hold on. So are we talking about the existence of language monitoring, or what would be considered an infringement on free speech, as far as the attempted stopping of misinformation when it came to COVID, or are we talking about the legitimacy of COVID? Because the first one I'm more than happy to have a conversation with. The second,
real, dude.
Yeah, but the second one I will not have a conversation about.
No, I'm not going to. Do you want me to say like C19 or whatever? I don't want to get you in trouble with
No, I'm just not. I'm not going to argue whether COVID exists or not, because that's.
No, it was 100% there. Like,
okay.
It has to exist. Otherwise, similar viruses would be able to trigger the test kits that we bought and we were given. So it's like there's a specific marker on that specific virus that allows us to test for it.
Okay, so what's your point here? So sorry. Can we get to the point here?
Yeah, no, sure. My point is there was an attempt at information control as well as distribution of false information, because the shot itself, the actual vaccination, was never 100% efficable. It might have had some measurable effect.
But that's looking in the rear view.
No, I agree.
At the time, that was the best science we had. At the time, that was the best science that we had. At the time, that was what the studies were showing. And at the time, we were trying to get the information out to make sure that information was not, spreading that was going to hurt people. Okay. So like there's a big difference between saying like, oh, well, what was the, the percentage rate of the vaccination, for people that took it, like blah, blah, like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, in retrospect, that's really easy to look back and go, okay, maybe that wasn't 100% correct, but it was the best information at the time. The information they were stopping is like, you know what you should do? You should inject Lysol into your bloodstream. That'll help it. Like, that was the information that was being stopped. It was not whether or not the vaccine would, like, people were like, oh, if you get the vaccine, you're going to turn to a reptile and your balls are going to fly to space or whatever. Like, that was the misinformation they were stopping, not whether like the exact science between like, hey, we took the, we had the vaccine, we said it was going to do X, Y, and Z. It's not exactly doing X, Y, and Z. It's still helping in, stopping people from dying or stopping people from being in the hospital. It is doing that. But exactly what was happening all the way through was, we were kind of learning as we were going. What we knew is that it was safe, right? We knew it wasn't hurting anyone, right? And we knew that it was stopping people from dying in the hospital, right? So the stopping of misinformation, which again, I will sit here and we can argue whether or not him stopping the misinformation was a good thing or not. But having not having the future information in the past, I can't blame them for that.
And you're 100% right. I guess my biggest concern in this regard, specifically like this situation, is do you think that information, while it wasn't totally clear, was being put forward as an opiate for the masses to provide a state of calm, to provide a state of security or a sense of security, make people feel more confident about the situation that we were in?
I think that's possible. But I don't
because
always.
If that's the case, I think that that's wrong.
I'm not saying it's not possible. I think that there's legitimacy to that to a point, right? I'm not saying it's true because I have no data to show it's true. But if you're going to tell me like, hey, like everybody's losing their fucking mind, but like let's calm them down. But just because the information was provided in order to calm people down doesn't mean the information wasn't the best and most accurate information possibly provided, right? Like that's like saying like, like you're in a theater that's on fire, right? And everybody's in the theater and somebody comes up and goes like, hey, like everybody calm down. The fire's isolated to another theater. The fire department's here. We don't know 100% what the fire department's doing, but we know that they're here. We know they're controlling the fire, and we're going to let you know as much information as we possibly can going forward. Right? Is that something that's said in order to calm people down? Yes. Is calming people down in that situation good? Also, yes. Was that information all correct for the best information that they had? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they change it later and they go, hey, actually the fire department said they had it controlled to 1 theater, it's actually in 2 now, but it's still nowhere near you. Well, that's just a changing of the situation, and now we're adjusting what we're saying after that, right? But regardless of that, it doesn't mean that giving that information in order to have people not lose their minds and start doing crazy stuff. Because if everybody rushes out of the theater, it makes it impossible for the fire department to do their job, and has an ability of, opening up more oxygen and more doors to make the fire spread more, and increasing the ability that more people get injured, right? Like, that's still a good thing.
That makes me curious, and I don't want to play in hypotheticals too much. I just wonder, though, and I can close with this. I don't know if there's any more I can talk about, but I as somebody who values information over feelings, right? I believe that if I was told that this vaccine, it might work. Right now, we have preliminary studies, naming them as preliminary studies because it wasn't extensively studied, saying it's showing efficacy. We don't have an exact number. It could be high, but it's not a guarantee. I feel like they provided a false safety net for some people, and I do believe that there may have been certain conservatives or moderates who, while they were opposed to the freedom of expression or whatever bullcrap they came up with masks, where it's like, I got the vaccine, I don't need to wear a mask anymore. I don't know if you've ever heard anybody say that, but I certainly have. And I think that the precedent that was set by introducing this information as pure, irrefutable, undeniable fact ruined the conditions, or at least provoked worse conditions moving forward in the coming months from that point in time.
And see, but that's where I'm confused. I never once was in a spot during COVID where I had an information where I was like, this vaccine is 100% going to work in all cases and going to stop you from doing XYZ. I never received that rhetoric whatsoever from the left or the right, from anybody. Like,
I am almost certain that was proposed or said by Anthony Fauci at the time. I might be wrong with that.
I don't believe so.
I mean, it has been like 5 years.
Well, first of all, scientists and doctors rarely, if not never, speak in definitives, right? It is never, this thing will 100% work, because no vaccine works 100% of the time ever and on everyone. That's just not works. That's not how they work. Like, no medication. I mean, people can take Tylenol, right? And Tylenol can unalive people if the right conditions exist, and there can be side effects to that Tylenol that exists. So when you're saying like Dr. Fauci said a definitive 100% of the time, I just don't believe that. I never heard him say that, nor did I hear any other scientists say that or doctors say that. So I don't know where you're getting that info from.
Well, I guess, and I will yield that I don't have a source for that, but he did. I'm looking it up right now. So December 10th of 2020, a CNN interview with Chris Cuomo and Fauci discussed vaccination protection. He stated that Pfizer and Moderna trials showed 94 to 95% efficacy at preventing clinically recognizable COVID-19. Now, again, that's clinical trials, but we're talking like 6 months. So it set a precedent of confidence, and over time that efficacy was proven to be lower. And so my concern is, when you're running a narrative that actively, how do I want to say this? When you are providing information
it's insane,
you use to instill confidence into your party, because I don't think COVID ever should have been a party policy anyway. I think
that's the one thing I'll agree with.
Like, it's the same thing with there's all sorts of things. I guess ultimately what bothers me with it is just both sides, in my estimation, have used media and information control in order to frame themselves in a good light. I won't say it's misinformation. I won't say it's fact. I won't yield any of those things because I don't have sources. But we have two completely different. Take CNN and Fox, for example. Now, Fox is Fox Media Group. They're not even labeled as.
They're both owned by Rupert Murdoch, I'm pretty sure. So
I'm really, I didn't know that. But either way, whenever you get into anything with politics, right, they're both going to spin a different narrative. The problem is very seldom do you get corporate media or legacy media that gets to a point where they have a consensus on something unless it's the results of the damn election. You know, it's like, oh, you know, they're both going to frame whatever story that they have in a light that positively reflects on the traits of whatever political party they associate with or whatever ideology they opt into. And so I think, generally speaking, there's a distrust with information provided within a political climate anyway. And I don't think that it's conducive to a positive public, what would you say, a public environment, social fabric, to have news sources regardless that are like pro or anti-Trump or Biden or Harris or anybody for that matter. And so ultimately, we were talking about fascism. It's the tenets, more often than not, of fascism that can be pointed at Trump can also be pointed at members of the left. And
well,
so
pretty
I
much
think
you're just, sir,
it's
you're
an injustice to call
as
him fascist, but not also say these people.
well, sir, other people don't fit all of the 14 tenets of, or at least the majority of the 14 tenets of fascism. And pretty much you're making an argument for the fairness doctrine, which I don't have an argument for, right? Like, I completely agree that we should bring back the fairness doctrine, right? Where news agencies like Fox News can't go in court and say, nobody in their right mind would believe us, or we're not actually a, you know, entertainment network, or we're not actually a news network, we're an entertainment argument network or whatever. But at the end of the day, yeah, of course people with an agenda are going to, you know, progress that agenda. If you choose to live within that, you know, that partisan agenda news cycle, then you're going to get what that partisan news cycle gives you, right? Like, you need, like, people need to, as a whole, understand what media they're getting and understand what they're seeing, and understanding that not all of it is bad, right? Like, not all of it is a negative, and not everything that's even partisan or biased is negative, right? It's just understanding the bias of what it is, right? That's something, and I don't know what your education level is. I feel like you probably do have a fairly high level of education, right?
I dropped out of high school.
Really? Well, you do speak very well for somebody who dropped out of high school.
That's probably the best way to describe myself.
You speak very well for somebody that didn't graduate high school. I will say that, and I really do mean that as a compliment. Okay, I truly do. Okay, but when you are in like graduate school and stuff like that, right? They teach you to understand the bias of the information that you're using. It's not staying away from the bias, it's understanding the bias. It's knowing what source you're giving, right? Like, I'll give you an example. I subscribe to the New York Times.
Okay.
I understand that the New York Times, especially within their opinion section, is very biased to the left. Okay? I understand that.
Okay.
Okay? But I understand, I go into it with an understanding of this opinion section has a bias on the left. Okay? And I go in with it, so I'm able to center myself and go, okay, what is the left thinking on this, right? Okay, how can I center myself on this, right? I also can look at their articles and go, okay, this isn't an opinion article. This is something that is completely based off of facts, right? Like, if you ever listen to like a podcast like called The Daily, right? The Daily podcast, while it does have a slight bias leaning, right? It always does. It's very, very close to center. It's very, very close to center. And they try really, really hard to be as fact-based as possible. You know what I'm saying? Sure. So it's not avoiding the bias. It's recognizing the bias and then adjusting your thought process with a simple ability to critically think and then moving forward, right? Like, I sit at the gym and I watch...
expectation for citizens. And I hate to say that.
No, it's not.
I guess... You don't think so?
No.
But what about yellow dog voting? Like, that's such an epidemic, I feel like, in this nation.
Well, now you're just excusing them then.
Well, okay, fair enough. But excusing it, I don't know if I would say I'm excusing it. I think what I'm trying to do, at least, is to recognize that it exists. There will always be people that say red until I'm dead or blue no matter who. So how do you break through that almost like football spectator mentality?
You don't.
When can you induce critical thinking?
You
Because I
don't.
think a lot of people look at it as like an athletic event.
You don't.
But we can't. Okay, so.
But the majority of
so I
people
feel
don't
like
live in
that's
there.
That's a,
The majority of people don't live in this whole like, I'm gonna be like, I'm blue. I'm gonna vote for a Democrat, no matter who they are. It could be, whoever, freaking Stalin. I'm gonna go left, or it's gonna be Hitler on the right, and I'm gonna go like, doesn't matter. I'm gonna vote for whoever it is. Yes, there are people like that, but for the most part, the majority of people, that's a fringe part of each side that exists. The people in the middle are the people who win elections. The people in the middle are the people that you're trying to affect, and most people, like, regardless of who they are, and this includes me, okay, like. I would rather vote for somebody like on the right that's a good person than someone on the left who's a piece of shit. Like 1000%, right? I'm not gonna vote for a piece of shit just because they're on the left. Mayor Eric Adams, for example, right? Like, I'm not good just because somebody says they're on the left or claims to be a Democrat or claims to be on the left doesn't make them a good person, doesn't make them a good politician, doesn't make them what's right for America or right for people. Right? So I'd much rather vote for somebody on the, or even I'll give you a better example, right? I live in like a very, very, very red district of the United States. Incredibly red. No Democrats winning a goddamn thing. You couldn't get a Democrat comptroller where I live. Okay?
like a Democrat principal for your local school.
No, not gonna. One doesn't even exist. Okay? Like, I promise you it doesn't. Okay? So, is it more beneficial for me to vote for somebody on the left who's going to lose by 50 points, or to make sure I vote for the right person on the right? Let's use common sense here. You know what I'm saying? Let's use common sense and vote for a person that is going to be the best for what we, like the best for my life, for my family, for my community, and all that sort of stuff, right? So, I'm not going to just go, I'm going left, regardless of anything. That's stupid, right? Like, let's use critical thinking. I think that, you ever heard it's like a person is smart, but people are stupid? Like,
I'm familiar with the idea.
Yeah, like, if you talk to every individual person, if you talk to every individual person, most individual people are pretty smart, right? It's as a collective, especially when they can be herded like cattle, they become stupid, right?
Well, the simplest idea is easiest to articulate.
Exactly. That's how Donald Trump wins.
That's the biggest problem. But
that's how Donald Trump wins.
Exactly why well, but you could also argue that
drill, baby,
Biden
drill.
Says if you're black,
make America great again.
No, I agree. I will yield that completely. You have to be. It's KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. But I would also argue that when you have a politician like Biden, for example, who is trying to bait out a racial allegiance to the Democrats by saying if
Donald Trump did the same thing. I don't know why you keep bringing up Biden when Donald Trump did the same thing.
Okay, in what instance? That's my curiosity.
I think they like the black one.
My exposure.
Or I think they want the white one. That's what he said. There's a black one and a white one. I think they want the white one. Like, he made so many references to black people voting for him. He made so many. He went on what was it? I don't even remember what it was. He went on something that was like, look at my African American over there. Yeah, he said that. Donald Trump did the exact same thing. You calling out Biden for doing it? Like, again, should Biden have done that? No. But don't make it sound like Biden was the only one. Trump did the exact same thing multiple times.
Okay. I'm not familiar with the instance that you're talking about. I won't agree or disagree that did or didn't happen because I genuinely don't know. But I guess the long and short of it is I don't expect people who I'm talking to investigate far enough. And I mean, I'm a perfect example. Probably half of your examples flew right over my head. I work like 70 hours a week. I drive a semi truck. Like, I don't have enough time to go into the nuances and get third or fourth or fifth opinions. So my ultimate criticism is just, I think exposure is the biggest issue, and I think people latch to things that they want more than what they know to be true, right? Or know to be right or morally and objectively good, right? And I do believe that people are capable of critically thinking, but I don't think they're encouraged to. And I think that gets exemplified on both sides of the aisle in any election cycle more than it does any other time of the year, or the 4-year cycle for that matter. And I think that's a weight that's equally shared by both sides. And ultimately, I fell victim to that. I voted for Trump because I perceived an increase in my personal tax, I perceived a decrease in my personal tax liability and an increase in my net income. And I romanticized it. I don't agree with what he has said on a public worldwide stage saying he's going to make Canada the 51st state or annex Greenland or any of that stuff. I think it's an embarrassment, and I think it's inherently wrong. It doesn't matter if he meant it or if he was doing it to meme or harass people or just make fun of people he disagrees with. I think that there's a capacity for professionalism that's expected from somebody in a position that high. And I just can't say with confidence that I would expect anything better from a different politician. Now, he's a showboater. I will say Trump's probably going to be the worst about it, but I think the way he presents his rhetoric and the way that he presents his policy is appealing. And
he does. He's great. He is great at campaigning
in the same way that like liberals are. Right?
Hey, man. Hey, I love your point, but I just crossed like over 3 hours and I'm tired, so I'm gonna get off the phone. But you have a good one, all right? Hey, it was actually a really good conversation. I hope you have a wonderful day, all right, man?
It was a pleasure, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too, man. Sorry, we've been talking for like a while, and I was just like, all right, we got to get this thing to get going because I got to get through a few super chats before I get off. Gypsy Times, thank you so much. Says America, you echoed Rupert's argument heard in the UK, Australia, and beyond. Tax issues only affect the rich over 10 million. He scares everyone worldwide into thinking it could hit them. That's exactly what they do. They tell you that, oh, they're trying to freaking make the rich pay their taxes. They're coming for you next. They're coming for you next. No, they're not. No, they're not. Also, you're never going to be a billionaire. So they're going to tell you that all day too. But thank you so much for the £9.99 super chat. I really appreciate that. Wake Up Sweep said, this is for that racist POS you had to deal with. Thanks for what you love the streams. Thank you so much. I appreciate that for the $9.99 super chat. They're out there. They're out there. Hey, you got to deal with the racists too. That's just part of it. Trust me, the women actually get it worse than I do. I promise you that. Below average Utah dad said, guns and freedom, not anti-Trump on my stream. Come over. Okay. Well, thank you. There's lots of freedom over here too. Not so many guns. I don't think they allow those on the live. Gypsy Times, thank you so much for the 1999 on Super Chat. Said, here's a life lesson for all Americans. Read the free UK news, The Guardian, Channel 4 News, and the BBC. Download their apps if you like. This cooler head is full of misinformation from Rupert Murdoch, an Australian man. And he also says, dude, you need to prioritize quality information over feelings. If you're talking about Hunter Biden's laptop, you're just repeating Rupert Murdoch's talking points, BBC, Channel 4, and The Guardian. Fix yourself. I will definitely say I do check out BBC quite a lot. I actually, my girlfriend gets all their notifications, and so I check them out a lot. But I usually stick to Reuters and AP, but hey, you got to get it from everywhere. So, all right, y'all. Hey, y'all, I got to get off the night. I will be on tomorrow afternoon sometime. Make sure you're in my Discord. I'll announce it there, and plus you'll get the little bloop. So really appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. See you guys tomorrow, right? Bye.